every day. Trying to stream to Instagram and it's always breaking. So let's see. Give it another 10 seconds. If it works, it works. Doesn't, it doesn't. Hey, oh, look at that. Working. Nice. All right. Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast. What we're talking about is the psychological reason that diets doesn't work. And it doesn't work. You know this. I can't say this enough times. Dieting is never going to work because of this psychological reason. And that psychological reason is real obvious, that diets are always telling you what to do and never showing you how to get yourself to do it. And so you are left with the same set of psychological tools and problems that created the problem, and you never learn how to fix it psychologically. Again, if you look at your weight loss history, what you will most likely notice is a changing or consistent stream of attempts to try and change your eating and maybe exercise. But never, ever, never do you learn how to think like a thin and healthy person. You don't learn how to change your thoughts about food, about exercise, about your health, about yourself. And so again, you're consistently, as Einstein said, that you can't fix the same level of thinking that created the problem cannot solve the problem. Okay. And yet here you sit looking at probably decades of trying to lose weight where you have had the exact same mindset the entire time. And while some of the strategies and tactics have changed a little bit, never have you really gone to the source of the problem, which is the way that you think. And again, about all those different areas. So until you change that, how could anything possibly change? You know, because we consistently have the same core problems. So whether you try and count your points or cut your calories to 1,200 or just eat carbs or don't eat carbs, or whatever your tactic may be that you try and lose weight, what you'll notice is it's always the same process that you do it for a little while. You make a mistake, you feel discouraged, and you can't keep yourself going on. And it's just this over and over and over again. And to really drive the point home that when it comes to weight loss, you are never, ever learning anything new. That if you're really honest with yourself, you'll recognize that you don't know anything more about how to lose weight now than you did before you started your first diet all those years ago. You're not learning and growing and evolving into a better version of yourself who weighs what you want. You're stuck as the same version of yourself, constantly trying different tactics to make it happen. And it never works, it never sticks. And eventually you get to the point where you just feel apathetic about it. And you just feel like, I'm never going to be able to do this no matter what I try. But of course, what you have never tried is a mindset approach. You've never tried to change the way that you think. You've never attempted to learn how to think like a thin and healthy person. So I say this to you as a message of love. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to snap you out of the diet trance that you're in, thinking that the only thing between you and your goal weight forever is just finding the perfect diet, the right way of eating. That it's not it. Any of the diets will work, right? You could succeed with any diet if you follow it. The problem is not the diet. The problem is what's going on between your head. And until that gets fixed, it's always going to be a struggle. So I hope that you take a different approach. Again, I know it's a little down, a little discouraging sounding, but again, it's not meant to be. It's meant to kind of wake you up and realize, holy shit, I have been doing the same thing the entire time. It's not working. And you celebrate this day. You celebrate this realization by beginning to walk a path of weight mastery where starting today, you begin to focus on thinking and living and eating like a thin and healthy person, and you lay it out in front of you just like you would any other thing you wanted to learn. You would start, you'd practice, you'd get better, and eventually you would master it if you stuck with it. So begin to think about it this way, and I think you'll find that everything begins to change for you. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll get into them. Got Instagram back here again today, which I'm happy about. I feel bad for my Instagram people. It hasn't been working, my streaming. I like to stream these. So TikTok is kind of my main people on here. I'll be asking a lot of questions. But this is simultaneously streamed every day. So I do these every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon. And take your questions. I'm here to help you. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Anthony in LA, love your content. I'm at my lowest today. 205 was 314, January 2023. Holy cow. What an accomplishment. Great job, Anthony. That is something else. Super, super job. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the content too. That's wonderful. What an accomplishment. And the best thing is you've been doing it for a while. Pizza says, wow, I said the same thing last night on another live and was told I was negative. Yeah, well, there you go. I knew I was being negative. But, hey, listen, sometimes the truth hurts a little bit. We protect ourselves from it, but you got to open yourselves up to it, because if you're not getting the weight loss results you want, the first step you got to do is get out of the thinking that I've done everything I can and it's just nothing works. That's such a powerless thought. And it's so much more empowering to realize, oh shit, I've been doing things wrong this whole time. It hurts too, right? The regret, the sting of doing the wrong thing for so long, putting so much effort into something that doesn't work, that hurts, but we got to be able to, it's okay, right? Because if we don't allow ourselves to feel the pain of the mistakes we've been making, then we never allow ourselves to correct the mistake that we've been making. Okay. This is why I say with Program Yourself Thin, when I'm working with my clients, the first thing we're focusing on and developing is awareness. You need, I always say awareness precedes change. You can't just oh God, here we are on Monday. If you are starting your keto plan or your Weight Watchers plan for the 1,000th time, oh my God, right? Is there anything worse than that? It's like the dieter mindset. It's like, holy shit. Again with the keto plan, why would it work this time? Oh my God. So dieters got to hear this stuff. I know it's a little negative. I know it hurts a little bit, but that's okay. Sometimes we need to absorb a little pain in order to move forward. And that's what's going on here. What's up, Astrid? Oh yeah. What is that? Yeah. That means in case you missed it. Yep. So, yeah, it's really just like, I'm going to change the name of that, I think, because I know no one knows what that means unless you're really tech savvy. I knew that. But anyways, it's a best of, do you know what I mean? Like it's like, because I realized, oh man, I'm as goofy as it gets. I sit here, I'm busting chops on dieters, right? Not realizing shit, but I do the same stuff. We all do the same stuff. So I'm not sitting here saying like, I don't have to deal with this. I do the same dumb shit over and over too. No doubt. But again, I'm looking to, I like knowing when I'm wrong. I like facing that and so I can fix it. But that being said, yeah, I'm going to, it's like a best of, because, every week I'm doing 5 podcasts. I'm doing 10 to 20 TikToks, I'm starting to do the YouTube videos. So I got a lot of stuff going on that I'm not really blasting out to my list. So again, if you're not on my list, go to my bio, click the link at the hypnosis session I give you. You get on my list. I also made a video for you, 3 steps to master your weight. But the other side is I'm gonna keep you guys up to date a little bit more with all the stuff I'm creating. Some of it might catch your attention and be really helpful for you. So yeah, that's just in case you missed it. And it's just a highlight of the week. So I'm having a hard time to get back to track and start being disciplined again and losing weight. Yeah, that's the key problem most people struggle with. What's up, Danielle? How's it going? I see you're on, Instagram. I'm back on Instagram. I was off there for a week. I was having all sorts of tech issues. I'm having tech issues all over the place. My membership site, I'm sorry for everyone in the program. Where I host my program, the MP3s, there have been a little bit of issues with the audios last couple of days. That is in the process of getting fixed, and it just, if anything gives me anxiety, I would say that's at the top of the list for me. If there's any technical issues on my end that are preventing my clients from getting their stuff, it kills me. But it's just one of those weeks. So I'm working on fixing it. It's kind of sporadic right now. So if it hasn't been working, go check it again. It's probably working. I've noticed that today. But anyways, okay. But getting back on track and starting being disciplined with losing weight. So I'm going to give you a strategy that you don't ever hear, right? Because you have to understand that before I tell you how to get back on track, we need to take a step back and look at how you think about getting on track. You probably think like a dieter, and dieters think in an all or nothing mindset, which is more accurate to say you're a nothing or all mindset. I don't like the all or nothing mindset framing because it makes it seem like, oh, I'm all or nothing. No, you're nothing most of the time, and then sometimes you're all. Don't get mad at me about that. Come on, let's just be honest, right? We'll make an agreement to be honest with each other. So if we're nothing most of the time and then we're all, that's a real difficult thing to keep up. Okay, so again, this is classic dieter behavior where it's like you're not really paying attention to anything, and all of a sudden, no carbs. I'm not paying attention to anything. I'm going to cut 1,200 calories. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to track every single calorie I eat. No, you're not. So it's very overwhelming. And so what most people can do is they're really fired up and motivated. They can do the all thing for a little while, and at some point they slide back into what they always do. And this becomes, so I'm having a hard time getting back on track and starting to be disciplined and losing weight. Yeah, okay. But a big part of this is that the way you're thinking about this is that you're all or nothing. And so you think you have to do all of this drastic shit right away. And it's uncomfortable, it's overwhelming, and it's difficult to maintain. And so you can do it once in a while when you're really, really motivated, and how you're typically motivated, by the way, you step on the scale, you see the picture of yourself, the clothes don't fit, you see your reflection, someone says something shitty, you get so upset, that's it, I gotta change everything. You go into this all overwhelming approach for a little while, and then you go back to nothing. So what we want to do is replace the all or nothing mindset with an all or something mindset. That's the first step. And to extend the time frame, we don't have to do crazy things that are overwhelming to us to lose weight. We have to create a new way of thinking, living, and eating in order to live at our goal weight forever. And that's a process that just goes on and on and on. So yeah, sometimes you're going to be focused, motivated, life's going to work with you, and you can do everything perfectly. But then there's going to be other times when you can't. And so we need to have a something mentality as well in those times, because you're going to find that's most of the time. You're not going to be all most of the time. Okay? So you're going to be something most of the time. So it gets a lot easier to get back on track when on track doesn't have to be so hard. Okay, so that's the first thing. You don't have to change everything all at once. Okay, you can take small bite-sized pieces. Program yourself then. We do the worst and first strategy. You can focus on your worst eating habit and your first eating habit if you're extra motivated. That's plenty for you to focus on and get a handle on. But what you're probably doing, I'm going to guess, is you're trying to change everything all at once. You did it for a little bit, you fell off of it, and now you're trying to get yourself back to doing everything perfect again, and you don't want to do it because it's too overwhelming. So again, the answer is not to just whip yourself and get yourself to do this crazy thing that you can't keep up. The thing is to lower your expectations of what you can do comfortably right now. And I think you'll come up with some interesting stuff if you ask that question. Pizzo says, I lost 70 pounds in 8 months and went another approach to kickstart it, and I didn't get any answers. Kickstart the last 20 pounds. Yeah, the last 20 pounds. I mean, the easiest thing I'll do is, again, if you haven't gotten into my bio there, go to my bio, click the link, listen to the hypnosis session I give you. That's a kickstart session, even if you're already 70 pounds into it. But most importantly, watch the video I made, 3 steps to master your weight. Because Pizzo, that's where you're going. This is where you got to make a change. I don't even know. This is the first time I'm talking to Pizzo, but I already know what I'm seeing is a pattern, and a pattern of people that lose weight down to 10, 20 pounds of their goal weight, and then they stall out. And so I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. You don't want to get to that goal weight because you're terrified of getting to the goal weight, because then you're like, what am I going to do now? Because most people, dieters, have 2 mindsets. You got your normal mindset, which is your overweight mindset. When you're just living life, doing what you do, you're overweight. And then sometimes you get real focused and motivated, upset about your weight, and you're going to micromanage every little thing you do, and you fight against your overweight mindset. And you do this for a little while until you reach your goal weight, but now the same problem exists. That you got an overweight mindset, a dieter mindset. You can't keep dieting, and so you're scared to stop the diet, okay? Because you don't know. You've never focused and thought about how to live as a thin and healthy person. So that's not part of your goal, really. You just want to lose the weight. But deep down, you're worried to lose the weight, because then what are you going to do? You know, and this is the big mindset issue with dieters in a nutshell, is that ironically they don't want to lose the weight. Like they do, but they don't, because once they get to that goal weight, they don't know how to keep it off. You're never focusing on that, and there's a lot of anxiety. I don't know how. It depends where you're at, but I have conversations all the time with people that are real close to their goal weight. They've been losing weight, and as they get closer to the goal weight, they're full of anxiety. They don't think they're going to be able to keep it off. So that's why with Program Yourself, then we start with maintenance, right? The whole goal is to maintain your weight forever. So we start by focusing on that, because that's the point of it all. But you as a dieter just think you're magically going to get to your goal weight and then you'll figure it out. And if you're really honest with yourself and you start paying attention to how you feel, you'll probably notice you got a lot of anxiety in there about getting to your goal weight. I know it sounds weird, but spend a little time thinking about it. M says, I feel so undisciplined and I constantly want to binge on everything. Yeah, no, I get that. It's, again, I don't mean I always sound like a broken record, but you all feel that way, right? You all feel undisciplined and constantly want to binge on everything, but to some degree, right? There's different levels of binging with people, okay? But the point of this is, I'm telling you, the diet is, in my mind, now, of course, this is what I do all day, so it's obvious I think this, but I think dieting is the biggest conspiracy, like one of the biggest conspiracies, followed by our food consumption, the way we eat. But dieting's right there as one of the biggest conspiracies of all time, because it's the stupidest, shittiest way to control your weight. And we're going to look back at dieting. I think you already know dieting doesn't work, right? But on the other hand, all you can do to think about weight loss is think about dieting. Dieting and weight loss are synonymous in your mind. And so you're undisciplined and constantly want to binge on everything because you've never learned how to deal with the deeper reasons why that's happening. You know, you feel undisciplined because all your automatic behaviors want you to overeat. So again, this is the dieting mindset that you have this overeating. Your natural automatic mode is to be an overeater, to be overweight, right? You eat too much, you eat the wrong shit, and you're overweight. So if you're not paying attention to your weight, if you're not trying to eat less, not trying to work out, just you living your life, you on autopilot, you are overweight. Okay. Now this isn't a natural thing. This is subconscious programming. All right. You have the programming of an overweight person. This is why it takes lots of discipline to fight against that so that you don't overeat. But that's the diet mindset in a nutshell, is that your autopilot is overweight, and then you as a diet are trying to micromanage and force yourself not to do those things. This is why it feels like you're fighting against yourself. You are in this model. And yeah, when the binge on everything is a consequence of the diet mentality. This is why I say the diet mentality is one of the biggest conspiracies in history, because most of the diets that you're referencing, by the way, are all owned by big food companies. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. The company owns Atkins Food Products. The same company owns Carvel, Cinnabon, and Auntie Anne's Pretzels. Slim Fast is owned by the same company that owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So they put this dieting idea in your mind because it actually causes you to overeat in the big picture. And so, do you ever want to binge more on food than when you come off your diet? Do you ever want to binge more than when you're coming off your diet and then all of a sudden you're free for all? And what triggers up the binging? The more you diet, do you not feel like binging more? It's crazy, right? So, yeah, I'm not going to go into all the details of it today, but I could sit here and talk for hours about all the subconscious messages you're getting from dieting that lead you to overeat. And again, these companies aren't putting out diet philosophy and techniques because they work. They don't want you to eat less of their shitty food. They want you to eat more of it. That's why they keep bombarding you with diet philosophy and mindset work. They're never going to buy Program Yourself then and blast that out to the masses, because instantly, the next day, their sales would be going down. So we will never see that. But anyways, all I can say to you, Em, is go to my bio, click the link at the hypnosis session, but please watch the video. It'll give you more explanation for why that's happening. But it's not unusual. That's pretty much the norm. That's the norm. Toasted bagel with cream cheese. How's it been going? You're here. I'm here every day. I'm here every day. Powerful thoughts only. I hit my weight loss goal. Now what? I know how to lose weight, but I'm lost. Debbie in Texas, thank you for saying that. Congratulations on reaching your goal weight, and congratulations for realizing now what? Okay? That's another part of that diet mindset, is that everything about dieting is about getting to your goal weight. That's the finish line. But it's not. You see, this is the first problem you got to deal with the dieter, is that you don't give a shit about getting to your goal weight. You've lost weight in the past, and then you put it back on. Are you happy you lost the weight? No, you're upset you put it back on. Your focus is absolutely wrong. And it's a subtle little shift. You don't give a shit about reaching your goal weight. I'm telling you this because Debbie in Texas is saying exactly what I just told you. And I don't know when the last time you gotten close to your goal weight is, but if you had paid attention, you would have realized you were freaking out. You were freaking out the closer, because you know how to diet. Once you get into it, you can diet and lose the weight, but it's really hard. It's really hard to keep it going. I just saw Deanna. Yeah, Deanna, I just wrote, and I was just talking about this because it's talking about anxiety inducing. No, the audios are playing crazy right now, and I'm trying to fix this. It's sporadic, so try it again and see if it's working, but it's a technical issue on the hosting side, and it's making me nuts. It's been a couple days too, so that's been on my end. But Debbie in Texas. So yeah. So folks, the goal, the finish line is not reaching your goal weight. Okay. You got to cut that shit out, please. The goal is not to get to your goal weight. It's to live at your goal weight. Which would you want? Would you like to get to your goal weight, or would you rather live the rest of your life? Which goal do you want? I'll lay them both out side by side. Would you like to get to your goal weight, or would you like to get to your goal weight and live the rest of your life at your goal weight on your autopilot? So, you know what I mean? I know, well, yeah, of course I want that. Yeah, but you're not saying that. You're never thinking about living at your goal weight. All you do is think about getting to your goal weight as the finish line. And what that does is creates a whole cascade of problems, because once you think about the goal is to get to my goal weight, this is a temporary process, right? It'll take me 6 months, it'll take 3 months, however long you think it's going to take me this long if I do something really strict to get to my goal weight. And so what happens is as soon as you think of it temporarily, the next question is how fast can we do this? How fast can we do it? We got to pick the most extreme plan. This is why keto and intermittent fasting are the two most popular diets in the world right now. Are you fucking kidding me? How could we be in 2024 and how can keto still be the main diet? How's this possible? Because people are so blinded by their impatience and their focus to get to that goal weight that they'll do anything to do it, including the stupid keto stuff that, come on, folks. Give me a break. I'm not saying you won't lose weight on it, but you really think you're going to stick with that for the rest of your life? Do you? Do you? Why? No one does. Again, I'm generalizing. There's always a couple people that do, but the vast majority of people do not. All right. So the point is that we got to stop just focusing on the goal weight of getting there. And we have to start thinking about how can I live at my goal weight for the rest of my life on near autopilot? You're never asking that question. And once you do start asking it, you're going to realize quickly you need different strategies to do that. You can't do keto to live the rest. Oh, God. Right? And that's such a great litmus test. Because the second you I'll do keto forever. Never have a carb again. Always be the goofball that goes to fucking birthdays and can't eat a piece of cake. Can't eat a piece of pizza ever. Can't ever have a drink you want to have. You know what I mean? Like, give me a break. You're never going to do it. So whatever. You got to get better strategies to live your goal weight. I live at my goal weight. I lost 50 pounds, but I've kept it off for 30 years. And that's what I'm here to talk about. I don't give a shit about the 50 pounds is 50 pounds, for sure. But I'm way more impressed by the 30 pounds because I haven't dieted once. I don't even work out. And I've mastered it for 30 years. I won Blip 12 years ago. How'd I do it? Y'all ought to be wondering that. That's the big question. Not how can you lose weight quickly. I know you're so obsessed with that. Oh, you want to lose weight quickly? You really want the secret answer? Stop eating anything. Water fast. There you go. Fastest way to lose weight. Just water fast. Stop eating. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Why? I'm joking, by the way. I just want to make that crystal clear. So, yeah, you need better strategies. But I feel you, Debbie. Here's the good news. Is that at least you found me. Because I'm one of the few people talking about weight mastery. I might be the only person that even uses that phrase. And I find that fascinating because as obsessed as you all are about losing weight, think about it. You never think about mastering your weight. You approach your weight loss like you're buying a lottery ticket. Well, we'll see if this works this time. And here's Monday. I love doing Monday calls. It's one of my favorite. I used to love doing the Sunday calls even more because that's when people really live in their denial. Right here on Monday, you're already coming face to face with the reality. I guess this ain't gonna be the week I do my keto plan. I guess this is the week. I guess can't count my points this week. I already blew it. And so it's like, I love getting on the Monday thing because it's like you just realize you're either on your path, you're not, or you're not even thinking about it, And it's like, you've got to change the way you're thinking and approaching this shit, So Debbie, yeah, the new focus becomes how can I live at this weight for the rest of my life on your autopilot, right? That's the goal. Because yeah, what you're saying, and thank you for saying it, because you're articulating what I'm always talking about. And a lot of people don't believe me for some reason. I don't know why, because everyone here is struggling with their weight. They'll lose some, put it back on, lose it. And they always kind of go back to that natural weight of theirs, which is higher than the way they want it. So it takes a different process. Now you just maintain. No, now you don't just maintain. Okay, folks, here's the thing. You do keto. Here's what everyone's doing. Not everyone, but the most motivated, focused people. I don't know if John's on here. He's a client that just started with me in January. But it was I love his story. I talk about this ones all the time because he started, he started January 1st, and it was funny because he was getting ready to start his keto intermittent fasting plan the next day. He ran into me, got the program, got joined me. And so he's funny though, because he's got such a diet mindset, and he was gonna, again, and he'd done that for years, by the way. So he'd start January 1st to come. He'd start with some people he knew. They'd all kind of make bets who's going to lose weight the quickest, all the rest of it. So keto, intermittent fasting, extreme working out. And he'd do it for a couple months, lose a bunch of weight, and then couldn't keep it up, put all the weight back on. January 1st comes around, do it again. Do it again, right? And so it's like, so when M says to Debbie, I hit my weight loss goal, now what? I know how to lose weight, but I'm lost. And then M comes and says, now you just maintain. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, you let me know, folks. Is it that easy? And I'm not picking on you, Em, because I'm picking on the diet mindset. But I want to point this out because this is the delusion you're all living under, that you're going to do some real extreme, uncomfortable, difficult thing to lose the weight. You're going to get to your goal weight, and then you're going to what? Continue? Just maintain? How do you just maintain? You were never focused on maintaining in the first place. And what most people do is they got average calorie consumptions here, And because they're impatient, they drastically cut the calories out down to here. And then what? Then they're going to take a goal weight and then they're going to what? Bring it up to maintenance? How's that working out? Statistically, 82 to 95% of people put the weight back on. So statistically, it's not working out very well at all. And so very few people are starting the process by saying, I want to live at my goal weight for the rest of my life on near autopilot. How can I do that? No one's thinking that. And the idea that you're just going to maintain now is like, what are we talking about? Why do you think you'd just be able to maintain? I don't understand that. Because here's the thing. Here's the big challenge you all got to deal with maintaining. You want to know what it is? You already know what it is, but I'm going to articulate it real clear. What most dieters do is they trade the pleasure of the food for the pleasure of the scale going down. And so as long as that's excitement and that focus and that pleasure of the scale going down, you're all right. But what do you do once the scale stops going down and now there's no food either? How do you keep yourself motivated? What do you do? That's $1 million question. No one seems to have an answer to it. I do, because this is what I do with people. What it comes down to, I'll give you a quick hint. And again, go to my bio, please watch the video. I'll explain all this. But you take your weight loss wrapped in personal development. Wanting to lose weight is a shitty goal. Like, considering how much effort it takes to actually lose weight long term, to change who you are so you live as a thin, healthy person forever. If you're going to put that amount of work into it, why not improve everything in your life? Because the weight loss, by the way, the weight's a means to an end. If I magically, tap you on the head and just make you at your goal weight, it doesn't automatically make everything wonderful in your life. Now, I know it makes things better and exciting in the first place, but it doesn't make everything perfect. And so this needs to be a process that has more meaning to it. And so instead of just making about the size clothes I am or a number on a scale, let's make it about becoming the best version of you possible. Who is the best version of you? Now we're starting to tap into more motivation. So why do I want to stay at my goal weight? Because I don't give a shit. I've been at the same weight for 30 years. So how do I stay motivated? It's not for the weight loss. It's because I want to be the person who I want to be the best version of myself I can be. I want to run a business. I want to be the best dad. I want to be the best husband. I want to be the best son. All the roles in my life that are important all come back to why I want to master my weight. So I'm going into this process with way more motivation, and it's motivation that lasts way past just getting to a number on a scale. Hope that makes sense. And so just to clarify it, in Program Yourself Thin, we follow the weight mastery pyramid. Okay, so we give it more context. Because what do you do to lose weight? You follow the weight loss pyramid, which is basically just one level of just eating. I'm going to change my eating. Maybe a little exercising. The weight mastery pyramid is mindset, lifestyle, eating. You have no foundation under your eating changes. You just have willpower that you're trying to force yourself to eat differently. Program Yourself Thin, we create a lifestyle and a mindset, most importantly, that support your new eating behaviors. And then the eating behaviors on top of that, with the diets, you're just taking stop eating carbs. They didn't take you into account. You haven't taken yourself into account. You're not building your weight loss plan around you, your preferences, your genetics, your lifestyle. You're just taking, because some fucking doctor somewhere wrote a book that said, stop eating carbs, you'll lose weight fast. And now that's what I'm going to do? Like, that's it? That's as much thought as you gave it. So with Program Yourself Thin, you come up with an eating structure that's built around you, one that works for you. And so that it's not just you forcing yourself to do something you hate to do, you actually create a plan that resonates with you and fits you like a glove. So you're set up to succeed long term. Hope that makes sense. Jamie says, I think some people get an extreme high from the weight loss, and that's why they allow themselves to gain back so they could look forward to the extreme high the next time they lose. Jamie, I think you're 100% right. I 100% believe that. I think people at this point know how to diet, and it's exciting, the weight going down. It's literally like a high, The high of mastering your weight's better, but it's a more sustained high, so it feels different. So I do believe that. I do think ultimately what I truly believe, the reason why people are stuck being overweight is because of their mindsets. I believe one key part of the mindset is your self-image. I think if you struggle with your weight for a long time, you have the identity of an overweight person, and we're always going to live up or down to our identity. And so that's why in Program Yourself Thin, when I'm helping my clients change their weight, one of the core things we're focusing on is your identity, how you think of yourself. If you think of yourself as an overweight person who's an overeater, who's a sugar addict, who's tried 5,000 diets, oh my God, good luck on your next diet. If that's what you think of yourself, how are you going to succeed? It just doesn't make any sense. So we have to start to transform our self-image, our identity, how we think of ourselves. And it's a process, but that's what we focus, because once you believe and think of yourself as a thin and healthy person, you get the mindset, lifestyle, and eating strategies and plans to support that. Now you're on a path to master your weight. But without that, I just don't know. I don't know how you could think of yourself as an overweight, overeater, out of control person who's now just lives at their goal weight. Like you know what I mean? Like it doesn't even make sense. Yeah, well-being, not weight, is what's important. Agreed. Now the weight's a part of that well-being though, as well. Okay. So again, instead of just making your weight the only goal that you care about, we make it about, we take the weight loss, wrap it in personal development, and we make this about you being the best version of yourself possible. And I know the best version of you possible that you can imagine has a certain weight. Do you see? So again, I think weight does matter. I think weight matters for your health, and I think weight matters for most people in this society to some degree. I think it's less important than people think, but it's a factor. But the biggest thing that matters is how you think about yourself day in and day out, what you think day in and day out, which creates how you feel day in and day out, which leads to how you behave day in and day out, which leads to who you are day in and day out. So again, even just that there, I hope you're starting to realize we're bringing in way more meaning to this process. Most dieters, I just want to lose weight. And again, you've been conditioned. I told you that diets are the biggest conspiracy in my mind after the food, one of the biggest conspiracies ever. This dieting thing that they've stuffed our heads full of rocks because we've all been exposed to millions of diet ads in our lives. Every single diet ad is the before and after picture and how long it took to get to it, which subconsciously makes you think about your weight in a superficial way. So that you think about, I want to lose weight because I want to look better. I know you don't believe when I say this. That ain't enough motivation. Maybe if you're like a model or you have like your finances and stuff is built into how you look as well, maybe you got a chance. But for the average person, nah. No, Jim, I really want to look better. Yeah, I know you do, but I'm telling you it's not enough motivation. I didn't say you don't want to look better. I'm saying it's not enough motivation for you to lose weight. Oh, no, Jim, you don't know me. I don't? Well, how much weight have you lost? Let's just get down to it, because I'm not going to sit here and fucking bullshit. Y'all doing enough of that yourself. You know what I mean? And again, this all comes from love. It really does. But you're never hearing the truth about the weight. You're constantly hearing fucking bullshit because people just want to sell you dumb shit, you know? And I don't know. So I'm not sitting here bullshitting you, so I'll tell you the truth. Yeah, Deanna just said that, right? It's like you always think that you'll somehow magically figure it out once you lose weight. Like once I get there, I'll just know what to do. Deanna, thank you. That is right on the money. Do y'all hear what Deanna just said? This is right on the money. Think about this. Is that you always think you're just going to somehow magically, like once you get to your goal, you're somehow just going to magically figure it out. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And it's like, if you reflect on it, like, because I always joke that the easiest way to trigger someone who's successfully losing weight on a diet is you ask them, say, what are you going to do when you get to your goal weight? They get really mad about that. Jim, I don't want to think about that right now, Jim. I just want to lose the weight. Once I get there, I'll figure it out. Well, you probably won't. What do you want from me? Statistics say you won't. And it's exactly this idea that if you reflect on what do you think you're going to do once you get to your goal weight, I always joke, like if I ask you what the Chinese word for picture is, notice that feeling of nothingness, right? Because you have no idea. You've never learned it. You have no idea. But if I ask you, what are you going to do to maintain your weight forever? Notice that feeling of, oh, I haven't thought about that. Exactly. So with Program Yourself, then we start with that. How can you live as a thin and healthy person starting today? And let's focus on the process so that it's comfortable. Can you imagine? Imagine weight loss being comfortable and not just overwhelming and freaking you out. And it's like, this is the craziest part. Again, this is why I say dieters, you're literally in a mental prison. You're in a mental prison with dieting thoughts are the bars, okay? And so if you wonder, because I think this is the craziest question. I get asked this every single day. This is the dieter question. I don't know why I can't get myself to start. Oh my God, really? You don't know why you can't start your keto plan? You don't know why you can't get yourself to intermittent fast today? For real? Really? Do you really not know why you can't get yourself to start it? Because I'll give you a hint. It's not your willpower. You want to know why you can't start your keto plan? Give me another second. It's because you fucking hate it. You don't want to do it. It sucks. It's miserable. You feel deprived. It's hard. You hate doing it. That's why you're not doing it. So we always do what we want to do. And you do not want to do a keto plan forever. You don't want to do a keto plan for a day. So that's why you're not doing it. You want to know why you're not starting counting your points today? I'll give you a hint. It's the same answer as the last one. So whatever plan you're not starting, don't be confused about why you're not starting. You're not starting because you don't want to do it. It sucks. It's a temporary solution to lose weight. It's not a way to live. So program yourself thin, just to give you a counterpoint. The first day when someone starts a program yourself thin, I deliver the program to the phone. So it's like you start your day, there's a message from me, because I know you're going to look at your phone. You're going to see a little message from me. You're going to tap on it. It's going to bring you a 5-minute hypnosis session. So you start your day relaxed and calm, good stuff going in your head. Do you think being more relaxed and calm might help you lose weight and eat better? Yeah, of course, right? Does it feel nice? Yeah. A lot of people in programs start to look forward to it. It's kind of nice starting the day relaxed. And then, what's the meal plan, Jim? The meal plan is you start focusing on your worst eating habit and you start optimizing your first eating of the day. Well, but I'm not going to lose weight quick that way. Yeah, but you're going to set up long-term strategies that you can develop and build on. Again, it comes back to the saying that most people overestimate how much weight they can lose in a month and underestimate how much weight they can lose in a year. All of your focus is on fast weight loss, which is keeping you stuck being overweight. I hope that makes sense. Because once you know that, then you put yourself on a better path. Until you know that, you just blame yourself. Happy Monday. Thanks, Don. Yeah, it's a good Monday, right? I had a great week. I love my weekends. Who the hell doesn't love the weekends, right? I'm not overweight BMI-wise, but I have so much visible fat on my body. Yeah, I get it. I mean, everyone's got their goals. The BMI place I think is a nice reference point for the average person. But at the end of the day, it's just a reference point, and you got to decide for you what makes you the happiest. You get to choose what your weight's going to be, and that's one of the first things I do with people is get them. What's your goal weight? This is one of the things. So I know I've been talking about the Spark program, and I was just kind of working out what I was going to add with that. But that's one of them. I'm going to add how to choose the right goal weight. And I'm going to add a motivation training. And the motivation training literally comes right out of my program. I think they're all important, but that's the most important one. All successful weight loss starts with real motivation. If you're not losing weight, it's because you're not motivated. Okay, that's why. You're not motivated. You don't even want to lose weight, most likely. I mean that. You weigh exactly what you want subconsciously. And so we got to figure that out. Get yourself motivated. So anyways, I give you guys more than anyone, I think. That's my goal here. I also have a program you can order, but if you go to my bio, click the link, I give you a hypnosis session. It's called The New Thin Me. That's free. I made a video for you, 3 Steps to Master Your Weight. That's free. I email you every day. That's free. And then I'm giving you access to this program I created called the Spark program, which is a Kickstarter program. It's meant to get you motivated. And so I'm going to add how to choose the perfect goal weight and a motivation video in there as well to help you do that. And that'll at least get you off on the right foot. And then I got a 7-day mindset. All this is free. My goal, and I already think I'm there. I don't think anyone gives more free stuff away than I do. But anyways, yeah, we always choose what we want to weigh. How do I stop myself from snacking? I think it's a multifaceted approach. And again, dieting is always kind of bringing you down to like one tactic. That's how dieting's built. But everything's a more comprehensive, holistic strategy to fix things. But snacking, the first thing I would do strategically, everything kind of breaks down, I suppose, into mindset and strategy. The strategy piece of snacking less is to really focus on your meals and making them nourishing and satisfying, and really working to create, what can I eat here so that it gets me to the next meal? What can I eat at this meal? It gets me to the next meal. What can I eat this meal? It gets me to the next meal. And it kind of loops. That's the first thing. Because if you're eating, like if I go and eat, I don't know, the peanut butter and jelly sandwich with white bread, I'm going to be hungry pretty quick after that. That doesn't satisfy me very long. You see? So understand like what we're eating and which things kind of get us to the next meal comfortably. That's another key part of weight mastery is a lot of dieters they want to be hungry. They associate the hungrier they are, the faster they're going to lose weight. But for me, I think if you're going to master your weight, you can't be really, really hungry. I think you have to manage your hunger and keep it at a comfortable level all day. That's what I do. I get up, I eat within an hour, and I kind of get my hunger up to a comfortable level, and I just surf that level throughout the day. It allows me to make much better decisions all day long because I'm not starving. So that's the strategy piece of snacking. The mindset piece of snacking to actually do that is, there's nothing wrong with snacking necessarily. So again, I'd love to go into like what food you're snacking on. So there's another, I guess that's more strategy as well, is that another thing you do in addition to improving your meals, however many meals you want to eat a day, is transitioning the snacking from shitty snacks to healthier snacks is another strategy you could use layered on top of that. And then the mindset piece really always comes back to, why am I doing this? And most likely, again, folks, if you're not losing weight, I can almost guarantee you have kind of an impotent goal. It's just not motivating you. To make it clear, you think you want to lose weight, but you actually wish you'd lose weight. It's at that level. You want to keep eating the way you're eating. You want to keep living the way you're living. That's why you keep doing it. And you kind of wish I'd lose weight, but you don't really want that as much. You want to lose weight, but you want to keep eating and living the way you're living is up here. And so you always do what you want to do. And so most likely you want to eat and live the way you've been living more than you want to actually lose the weight. So until that's fixed, you're not going to do anything. That's why I'm going to give you the motivation piece. I decided because I think anyone who wants to lose weight, their first hurdle is you got to get motivated. Oh, Jim, I'm motivated. I'm motivated. Oh, not if you're not losing weight. Not if you're not doing this stuff. I mean, what are we thinking here? That's one of the biggest lies dieters tell themselves. You just assume you really want to lose the weight. But if you really reflect on it, you're going to find out you don't. I do this all the time. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay says you're doing such important work in the world, Jim. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's my goal. Again, this is my mission in life because to me, the weight is life and death. So, yeah. I'm going to help people regardless I can get my program or not. Any tips? I'm close to my goal weight. Just eat maintenance calories. Again, the getting close to your goal weight, I'm telling you, it's a lot more to it. It's a lot more to it than that. I hate to tell you, because the motivation that can get a dieter to their goal weight is not the motivation that's going to keep them at their goal weight. It's the excitement. I mean, I don't want to get into the details of it, but it all comes down to dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical in our brain that drives most of our behavior. And so the excitement of losing weight is the anticipation of some amazing unknown future that we imagine. And what happens is you get it's always, you have more wiring in your brain for the anticipation of pleasure of food. Because think about this. We evolved in a food scarce environment. So getting the food was the hard part. Eating the food what's in front of us was not hard. Okay. So we needed more motivation to go get the food. So we need to imagine eating something. And when we imagine it in amazing glory. And then the reality is usually not that good most of the time. And so it's the same thing with the weight loss. I hate to tell you. If all you think, like if you're starving yourself to lose weight and then you get to your goal weight, you're going to find, I still am not happy. That's what you're going to find. And so the weight is just a means to an end, and it's one piece of the puzzle. So there's got to be more to it than just thinking getting to my goal weight is going to make everything magical. It's not. And you probably already know this on some level anyways. And so now you just kind of hold it out there as some amazing, thing that you can't wait to get. It's going to fix everything in your life. So that's a weird tip to say. That's going to get you closer to your goal weight is really start putting yourself. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place today, but one of the main program yourself thin. One of the main parts of the program is the program yourself thin technique, which is the redo rehearsal technique. But they're so important. I mean, it's a 1-2 minute hypnosis technique you use at night to program your subconscious mind. And both of them are so important. The redo for its own reason, but the rehearsal is so important because, as I was saying about the self-image, you need to get comfortable with being a thin and healthy person. And you are not right now if you've been overweight for a long time. As much as you hate the weight, and I know you hate it, but you can't disagree that you're familiar with it. And that leads to comfort. You're familiar and you're comfortable with it. You don't like it, but you kind of know how to get by in the world as this overweight person that you are. And all of a sudden become this thin and healthy person who's a totally different version of yourself. It's weird. And that's why you need to get comfortable with being at your goal weight. So that's kind of a weird tip. I know, you know what I mean? But that's actually a valuable tip. Connie, New Jersey, how's it going? Jim, how long into your lifestyle change did food and what you were eating stop being the focus of your life? I'm so tired of thinking about food. Yeah, it's an ongoing thing, and I'll tell you another thing. You're not going to like to hear this, but again, I'm here to be honest with you all because you never get any honesty with weight loss. I swear to God, you don't. You get bullshit. You get bullshit from people trying to sell you stuff, like specifically weight loss stuff. So they're selling you miracle cures and plans, or you're getting bullshit from the food industry that's always trying to reinforce how difficult it is to lose weight. So you never get a straight answer. And what I'm trying to tell you is that this goes along with the goal weight conversation, is that a lot of people just assume they're going to get to their goal weight and like, okay, I figured it out. I did it. But that ain't it. It's like I was equated to like surfing. If you're surfing, you never just like, oh, I got the wave. I did it. No, you're always engaged, right? Because the wave's always changing. It's always in a different form, cresting. And so you have to adapt to that thing. That's what it's like to master your weight. You have to have the ability to to be flexible and to respond to what's going on in life. So how far did I get into it? But how far did I get in my lifestyle, my transition here till I didn't focus on food? Never. Like, it got less and less and less. So I'm pretty much on autopilot now, but, it's still like, oh, I don't know. Like I said, like 12 years ago, I put 25 pounds on. Okay. Well, what was going on? I moved into a house that we were redoing. I had a baby who he didn't sleep very well. So he's a tiring kid, and I'm running a business. So there's lots of stress and things going on in my life, and that made it harder. Okay. So things changed though. Now, again, luckily I had a good structure in place. I'd been working on things. So, I pull it back in and got back on track. But with your dieting, it's so inflexible that it's all or nothing. And as soon as something changes, you'll be blown right off course. So we need to have the ability to adapt. This is why I think the program itself and technique is so important. I think it's the most important piece of the program, in my opinion, that this 1-2 minute hypnosis technique you do at night, because it forever allows you to be aware of what you're doing, recover from mistakes, learn from them, get yourself back on track, and then prepare for tomorrow in the right way. And I think you always need that because this never stops. But in terms of like, you're always thinking about food, a lot of people have this struggle. Folks, food noise, right? It's the word of the year, the phrase of the year. Yeah, why do you think about food all the time? Well, yeah, it's good. That's part of it. The bigger part is that you're constantly being cued to think about it constantly throughout your day. You're literally seeing thousands of food ads a day. Just driving down the street, you're being triggered. You walk into a convenience store, you're getting 1,000 triggers to think about different foods. Imagine that. You walk into a convenience store, you're surrounded instantly by thousands. You walk in the grocery store, tens of thousands of cues having you think about food. Advertising, it's nonstop. And then never mind your own kind of associations and conditioning. So yeah, how do you not think about food? It's a holistic, comprehensive approach to figuring it out. Getting your mindset under control, your lifestyle under control, and then structuring your eating in a specific way. All of these go right to that point. How do I handle the food noise naturally? That's what I've been working on for 30 years. So, yeah, I mean, again, what it comes down to, Connie, is really, again, in my program, they listen to hypnosis sessions all the time. They're doing their blueprints. They're working them. They're tweaking them. They're creating their lifestyle that they want to have. They're redoing, rehearsing what happened today and what's going to happen tomorrow. They're setting up their food environment so it supports them. They're structuring their eating so it's easier and natural, so I don't have to think about food. So again, I can't just sit here and say, oh, just do this. It's a comprehensive approach. And that's the only real answer I've ever seen work. And the answer that no one ever talks about. God damn. It makes me crazy. I hate it. And you know what makes me nuts lately? There's always, and I pull like a muscle in my chest. It's weird. Playing basketball with my kid is one of the most dangerous things I can do. Broke my foot. It really gave me some like muscle thing. So anyways, I'm just going to let that go. I got a bunch of questions there. I know you're all saying. Yeah, Deanna says that's exactly true. We don't really want to change our lifestyle. Exactly. You don't want to change your lifestyle. You don't want to. You don't want to. You don't want to on a deep level, and it's hard to change your lifestyle. So, there's ways to do it to make it easier. That's what I help people with. I think hypnosis and understanding how to use it's not some weird thing. You go into a state of hypnosis every time you watch a movie or a TV show. It's a normal, natural thing. Problem is you don't know how to use it on yourself. So you're constantly being hypnotized. Every food commercial you see, folks, is a hypnosis session. Please understand this. Every commercial is a hypnosis session, but when it comes to food specifically, so yeah, you need better strategies to learn to do that. Willpower is not going to do it. That's for sure. Problem is every time we hit our goal weight, we are not really satisfied and we want to lose more. Yeah, exactly. Because you think the weight is going to just fix everything. Weight and money are very similar. Okay, so they're means to an end, and it really becomes all about the process because they're both things like, again, however much money, like whatever debt you may be in. Imagine someone's like, oh, here's a check. Your debt's paid off. Yeah, cool, great, but that's not really what you want. What you really want to have is more money coming in all the time so you can live at a higher level forever. Same with weight loss. I'm just going to completely cut all the calories out so I get to the goal weight. I'm not going to live this way long term. I just want to cut the weight out. Well, how are you going to live at your goal weight? Never thought about that. So again, it's not about just getting to the goal weight. It's about living there. And you need a different process to make that happen. And another piece is realizing it's not just about the weight. It's not just about the number on the scale. If it was, no one would have a problem losing weight. Most of you have lost weight before, and then you put it back on. So how did that happen? If being at your goal weight was so incredible, so amazing, why didn't you stay there? That's a good question. And so, yeah, people's goals, I find that one of the most amazing things. That's why I'm going to give you that training for free, because you don't even have a good goal weight, I bet. And what do I mean by that? It's a goal weight you don't even want to achieve, I bet. I really mean this. I work with people. You understand, it costs $25,000 to work with me. I'm one of the highest paid hypnotist coaches on the planet when it comes to weight. And I work with extremely successful, smart people. You know some of them. And they're super smart and successful. And so I said, what do you want to weigh? They tell me the number. And then I ask the magic question, why? Because that's what I weighed when I was 22. And that's what I weighed when I got married. That's what I weighed when I lost the weight on Weight Watchers. It's always the same thing. But it's like, that's it. That's why. That's your meaning. That's the motivation that's supposed to drive this rocket ship to the moon. Right? That's it. And I think if you reflected on your goal weight, I think you'd find it had it didn't have much meaning to you, didn't have much motivation to you. That's what I think. And then on top of that, I think most of you are picking a goal weight you don't even want. What do I mean by that? You can't put your goal weight, doesn't live in a vacuum. And this is a big mistake people make. They just choose a goal. I'd like to be this. I'd like to this. Yeah. Okay, but let's look at the other side of the equation of how you have to eat and live to achieve that. So I see a lot of people choosing a goal weight that's down here, and they're not willing to live and eat at this level. And this, I think, is the original sin of dieting, is that you're choosing a weight. Most people are choosing a weight that's lower than what they're willing to eat and live at. So, yeah, you got to figure that one out. Lindsay says, do you have any specific tips for someone who's been restricting for over 30 years? Is the concept of a bad metabolism just a myth, or can you actually damage your metabolism over time? Any tips? You can damage your metabolism, but it's way more rare than people think. Like that broken metabolism concept. It is a thing, but again, it's fixable to some degree. But it's a way outlier, and it's probably not affecting you, is what I would say. So, yeah, the concept of a bad metabolism. But even the idea of a metabolism, I think, if you take that a step further, I think there's a lot of light at the end of that tunnel, which is why I always talk about the lifestyle piece. So the lifestyle piece that I work with my clients with is 8 habits in order of importance: proper sleep, hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. And you start weaving these things into your life, these things affect your metabolism. Because what's metabolism? Metabolism is how long it and what the process is to turn food into fuel. Okay, what we do with it. So a lot of times it's not the metabolism that's the problem. It's the food you're putting in your body, and it's how your body is acting. And all those lifestyle habits I just said impact all different levels of your metabolism, or what you think of it as. So again, what I would suggest for you, Lindsay, is you want to take a more holistic approach to this. And again, that lifestyle piece is so crucial, to getting that piece under control. It's exhausting. Feels like there's no time for anything else or thinking about anything else. Yeah, Connie, I get that. That's why I hear what you're saying. The food noise is a huge problem, folks. The way you think about food is a huge problem. I'll give you just one little piece of why. This is why dieting is so insidious. And I know they know this shit. I ain't no genius. These are multi-billion-dollar companies putting these diets out. So I know they know this. But one thing about your subconscious mind is it does two things. You may find this interesting. 2 things about your subconscious mind that you don't know. Number 1 is that your subconscious mind doesn't understand negatives. So if I tell you not to think about something, okay, get ready. Don't think about what I'm about to tell you. You got your willpower ready? Yeah? Okay. Don't think about a banana. Don't think about a yellow banana. Right? Are you thinking about a banana? Yeah, of course you are, because you need to make sense of the word. So you think about it. Your visual cortex literally lights up. Okay, so we don't understand negatives. Every time you go on a diet, what's the diet all about? Don't eat carbs. Don't eat fat. Don't eat the cookie. I can't eat cake. I can't eat pizza. Can't eat ice cream. Can't eat. It's all about what you can't eat. So you're obsessing on the thing you can't eat, and it's focusing exactly on that thing. Now, the second part's the kicker, that your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between vivid imagination and reality. This is fascinating, because this is why you like movies and TV shows. Right? You can sit there, you're on the sofa just laying down, and you can watch a horror movie and you can feel nervous and scared. You can watch a drama and feel sad. So what you're watching on the screen gives real feelings inside of you, because your imagination makes it real. Your body responds to your imagination. And when you're watching movies and shows, you're imagining you're in those scenarios and you're feeling as if you were. And sports is the classic of this. I mean, you're just sitting at home on the sofa, and it's like you can't even breathe. You're so into the game. If you've ever been to a game like that, you got adrenaline running, you're hyped up, right? Because your mind makes it real. So when you know those two things, then you look at a diet and you wonder why you haven't succeeded. It's because you're obsessed on what you're not supposed to eat, which causes you to constantly think about those foods. And then thinking about, oh, I can't eat that. I can't eat my favorite Ben & Jerry's tonight. I can't eat that pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I can't eat that pint of... I keep saying that to you. You start salivating. You start craving it. You start wanting it. This is why these food companies buy the diets, so that they can put this shit into your head in a sneaky way, you know, in addition to the obvious ways they do with the commercials. So, I mean, again, there's so many things I wish I could just... I always joke around. I wish I could, like, if I could do brain transplants, if you put my brain into anyone's body, we'll start losing weight instantly. Because I have mastered weight. I understand weight on 20 different levels, you know? And so I try and share this stuff all with you, you know, because I want you to be able to do the same thing. It's always your mindset. Always your mindset. What's up, Nikki? Live. Yep, definitely live. Jim, even when on autopilot, aren't we still always thinking about what we are eating? That's a good question, Connie. Yeah, but I'm on autopilot. That's why I always say there's no right or wrong when it comes to your weight loss. There's only what works for you. My one exception is I believe you have got to structure your eating. You've got to structure your eating. Because if you just start each day with wondering what you're going to eat, hoping you're going to make good food choices, that's not going to last. It's not. So, yeah, when I'm on autopilot, I know what I'm eating throughout the times. And so I free up a lot of eating food thought patterns, you know? So, yeah, that helps. Sam, I feel like an addict. I think it's because of dieting. Yeah, the dieting, like I said, gets you obsessed with food. Hey, there's John. I'm now down 15, bumped off my plateau. Cool to understand why my weight can vary 5 pounds a week. So that was the part I was waiting for with John. John is, I was just talking about you, John. I don't know if you were here, but John's one of my favorite recent stories because he was so embodied the all or nothing diet mentality to the extreme. He's a military guy. He's a guy. And so he's a very focused, and I love it because he's clear as day. He was so focused and motivated to do it. So anyways, he went a different path and, you know, he lost like 12, 13 pounds the first in January, started getting to February, started hitting a plateau, but it was so fun walking him through it, you know, in a new way. And it was, he was able to kind of just relax into it. Cause folks, plateaus aren't the end of the world. They are to dieters. Cause the only thing that keeps you going on a diet, the only thing that can keep you motivated to follow these shitty diets is weight loss. And the second you hit a week where you didn't lose any weight or put a weight on, a little on, you can handle about 1 or 2 of those weeks. You can't get past that. You know, John handled 2 or 3 weeks, no problem. And now here he is. He's 15 pounds now. So that's another 2 pounds. But the key thing is what I'm talking about is you've got to be able to handle plateaus. They're a part of the process. I don't give a shit what diet you do. But now I told John this too. I said, what I'm excited for you is once you kickstart the weight loss again. And now he's in now this is the fun part. He's in new territory. I have blasted him off to Mars. He's on a new planet that he's never been on before. Because every time he's done his diets in the past, he always get January and February, then he couldn't keep it up anymore. It was too hard, you know? So now he's going into March after weathering a plateau for a couple weeks in February, and he's into March, kickstart the weight loss again, but he did it without doing more restrictive shit. And that's the one I know it went on in his head, but it's like, that's what dieters always do, right? You do drastic shit to lose weight. 4 or 6 weeks go by, then all of a sudden you hit a plateau. Now you're looking for more drastic shit you can do on top of it, and you start freaking out because you're like, what else can I do? You know? And that's how most people handle that. When program yourself down, relax, calm down. It's going to be okay. And so now it's like it's kickstarted again, but he's in a calm, relaxed place with even better clarity about what his strategies are. So I can't wait to talk even more about that, John. Great job. Great job. Yep. And weighing ourselves to make sure we're not gaining. You're so good at showing how to maintain good health and good weight. You help so many. Thank you. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate you saying that. That's my goal here. I love my carbs, favorite part of my meals. Yeah, me too. I love carbs. Everyone loves carbs, you know? Highest on Monday, lowest on Saturday. The trend is down and my pleasure weekend wasn't decadent. That's great. That's what I mean, John. I'm telling you, magical things happen. You all, and John always says one of his favorite quotes that really convinced him to join the program was, again, that most people overestimate how much weight they can lose in a month and underestimate how much weight they can lose in a year. I know, I don't even know you all, and I know that you have never focused on how can I master my weight over the year. You've never thought in that time frame. And that's part of the diet bullshit they put in your head. They always get you to think very, very short term. And short term, you're not mastering shit. You can't master anything short term. Nothing. It always takes time. And so that's exciting. Jim, I just joined your coaching program. Are you meeting at 3 or 6 on Tuesdays? All right, cool. That's exciting. We meet on 6. So, yeah, okay, that might be a little confusing. The coaching calls are Tuesday, Thursday. Tuesday, the coaching call is at 6 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Those are the coaching calls we get on Zoom, and I will work directly with you. The class is tomorrow, Tuesday, at 3 p.m. Right? So you'll get an email that will give the link to that, but that's a class. So that's like you won't get on Zoom, but you can type in questions if you have them, where we kind of deep dive into different. Each week we kind of focus on a different part of the programming self-done system and just go in depth with it. And if you have any questions, we'll help you with that. But the coaching, the most important calls, again, the most value I can offer you in the program is please get on the coaching calls. Okay, because once I can kind of meet you and see where you're at, even if you didn't go through the program at all, I'll still help you. Okay, so make sure you get on those coaching calls. And if you can't get on the calls and you have a question, just shoot me an email and I'll talk about it on the call. And all those are recorded so you can watch the replays. Joanne says, eating is a habit. It's hard to find something else to do when you are normally eating at that time. Yeah, exactly, Joanne. That's right. Eating is a habit and it is hard. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it is hard, folks. It's hard. See, because what you're doing as a dieter is there's what you know, there's all your eating habits that you do, and you as a dieter just try and stop yourself from doing it. It's not a real solution. It's just it's a knee-jerk response. It's a temporary ability to, I eat ice cream at night. I'm not going to eat ice cream at night. But it's not a real solution. It's not a real thing you're going to do. This is literally the main thing of Program Yourself Thin. This is what we do the redo technique for. Because I've been really thinking about this concept. It's like when I say it out loud, you're going to kick yourself in the ass for feeling like stupid that you never thought of this. Don't. Because so much of this process is just realizing obvious shit that's right in front of you. But if you think you want to learn to play the piano, you want to start sewing, you want to learn to dance, right? And if you don't like any of those things, anything you've ever wanted to do, okay, to learn to do, anything you want to do in life to get good at, you've got to practice it, don't you? Is there anything in the world you've ever done on day one and you were really kick-ass awesome at it and then never got any better? You just you started awesome and you just stayed awesome. Is there anything you've ever done in your life like that? Probably not. So everything in your life that you can do well now, you started off and you sucked at it and you practiced at it and got better. Except for one thing in your life. There's only one thing in your life where that's not the case. You never guess what it is. Weight loss, right? Weight loss. I know what I got to do. I'm just going to start doing it tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day. You know what? I picked tomorrow. Tomorrow it just happened to be a Monday, but I picked tomorrow as the day where I completely change how I act from that moment forward. You know? That's the dieter delusion. That's a good one, huh? Dieter delusion. I'm going to make a video on that. Oh, so yeah, if you think you're just gonna be perfect on day one, but don't you think because of everything else in your life that you want to get good at, you've got to practice it? Don't you think maybe to become thin and healthy, you might have to practice acting like a thin and healthy person? Like maybe in the beginning you won't be that good at it, and maybe you can't just be great at it right away. Because eating is a habit. It's a habit. Can you just install perfect habits? Do you know? If you know how to do that, can you please shoot me an email so I can interview so I can find out how to do it? I would love to be able to know some strategy where I could just take someone and say, oh yeah, you don't eat healthy? Well, you do now. You do now. Congratulations. Have a great day. You eat perfect now. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are we doing? It's everything else in life takes practice to get good at, except for you and your reading. I don't believe that. I think you need to practice. I did. I had to practice. I'm still practicing. I'm still practicing guitar. I'm still practicing basketball. I've been playing for 50 years. What the shit? Why do I still need to practice? So, what you realize is that first of all, you never think about practicing eating healthier. You never think about living, eating, thinking like a thin and healthy person. You never think of those terms. You've never thought that. You never think that. But even if you did, you'd have no idea how to practice it. How do I practice? What do you mean? I don't even get it. So I believe you have to practice it. And I think once you wrap your head around that and you focus on mastery, and I want to get better at thinking, living, and eating like a thin and healthy person, well, there you go. There's the program yourself thin system. And the program yourself thin technique is the redo rehearsal technique, which is the most effective way I can think of for you to practice doing something that you don't do. And you don't know how to eat like a thin, healthy person right now. Just because you can force yourself to do it for a couple days or a couple weeks, that's not knowing it. And I think this is your core problem. And I think as long as your expectation is that tomorrow's Monday and I'm just going to eat perfect. Why the fuck would you think that? Like, what world do you live on that you think you can just decide tomorrow you're going to completely act different? I know it sounds good. I mean, we'd all like to do it. It doesn't mean you can. I need help. I love your presentation style. Thinking about going to a dietitian. I mean, you should get my program if you're going to go to a dietitian. Again, I love dietitians. I have nothing wrong with nutritionists and dietitians, but I think most people, that's not what you need. The problem is not that you don't know what to eat. The problem is you don't know how to get yourself to eat that way consistently. So again, I have no problem with dietitians and nutritionists with what they do. I will believe, go see your dietitian and nutritionist, folks, and they're going to help you with your weight as much as joining Weight Watchers or buying a keto book or whatever, because it's just more information about what you should do. Do you really think that's the problem? I always say, like, if you were a robot and you just programmed in what you're going to eat all day and then you just did it because you're a robot and you're just following your programming, would you have any problem losing weight? Would you? If you just typed down what you ate and what you didn't eat, would you have any problem? No. The problem isn't that you don't know what to eat. The problem is you have no ability beyond your willpower to get yourself to eat that way consistently. That's the big problem. I always tell you guys to go get my hypnosis session, but also follow me. If you haven't followed me, you should. Is the Spark program out now? No, Erica, but I can clarify what it's going to be. So it'll be out this week. I got it. I think the thing I was struggling with is I wanted to, I didn't know what to give you all, but I realized what the Spark program was always designed for is to really focus on motivation. And I think that's everyone's biggest problem, I think, is motivation. I think y'all have no idea how to motivate yourself, is what I believe. I know this. Again, it's weird. Like when you work with people, I don't know if y'all know, I'm not trying to brag here because I'm not this rich, but it's like when you work with people that are really rich and successful, it's weird because you realize that it's not that they're not, clearly they're smart, clearly they're action oriented, clearly they've got willpower, right? They're super successful. But then you realize they're just as stuck with their weight as anyone else. It's very eye-opening, And so what you realize anyways is that the first challenge everyone has, is that they don't know how to influence their motivation intentionally. Because a lot of these people I work with, right, they're super successful. And it's like they're motivated to do that thing, but they don't know how. They're just like naturally motivated in some ways. And I don't mean they're naturally motivated. I mean, just however they were raised, they have like this this motivation occurred to make a lot of money, be successful, but they're not able to figure out how to get motivated to lose the weight. So it's very weird because you can have a ton of that's what I'm trying to say, folks. It's not your willpower. Y'all got willpower in other areas of your life. It's not the willpower. I promise you. It's the mindset. It's the strategy of access to. It's the way you think about all this. And so, and the very first thing is the motivation. So yeah, that with the Spark program, it's always been about motivation, but I really clarified that. So that's why I'm going to give you a training how to choose your goal weight, the right weight that really is a good one for you. And the motivation, I'm going to give you kind of a simplified version of the motivation I literally use in the program, just to genuinely get you motivated. And so that's what's going to be in the Spark program. So yeah, this week maybe, I don't know, I might go away in this week, so it depends on that. Do you have any tips for binge eating? Yeah, binge eating, the kind of like general tips I give for binge eating is to really start by understanding it. I think that a lot of people with the binge eating, they just want to stop it. Same with emotional eating. But the first step is to understand it, to understand what's going on here. Because I know you don't want to binge eat, but it's happening. And there's two big reasons why it's happening. The first one is, again, you want to go back, you want to say 5 minutes before I started binge eating, where was I at hunger-wise? Because a lot of times you're going to find that you're binge eating because you're over-restricting. See, a lot of times where the problem shows up is not where the problem was created. A lot of times where the problem shows up, it was created earlier in the day. So a lot of you may notice that you're binging in the afternoon and the evening. And you're saying, oh, the problem is I'm binging here. I didn't have willpower to stop myself. But that's not what I think. I think if you zoom out and you look at the whole day, you'll see, oh, I tried to eat as little as possible for breakfast. I tried to eat as little as possible for lunch. And then I got so hungry, I couldn't control my eating. And so there's no solution in the world where you just get to fight against starvation forever. You're never going to win that battle. So instead, we want to get more strategic. And you'll start to notice that the binging is usually the result of being over hungry or some emotional reason where there's some emotion you don't want to deal with, don't know how to deal with, that's intense. So you turn to the food to distract yourself from it. So usually it's a combination of the two. So once you seek to understand what's triggering the binging, then you can come up with a strategic solution to prevent it and resolve it. So that's my tip for there. Without any theories, how do I fix my big appetite? Without any theories, how do I fix my big appetite? Well, okay, I'll give you the just the straightest answer I can give you. If you're like a typical American person eating a typical standard American diet, the reason you have a big appetite is because of what you're eating all the time. So if you eat a lot of ultra processed foods, you're going to have a huge appetite. I call it the endless hunger. I used to eat breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack all night. So I know my whole life was thinking about food, what was going to be on TV, and eventually drinking. And so, yeah. So without any theories, how do you fix your big appetite? The main thing I would say to you without knowing anything else about your situation is start eating more whole natural foods. Actually nourish your body. So again, I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but maybe they help you. What's the best diet for a binge eater? There's no best diet. Diets are goofy times, okay? Because what are diets about? Diets are temporary things you do to lose weight. And I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about temporary weight loss. I don't give a shit if you can lose 50 pounds in a week. I don't care. Okay? I care about long-term success. And so again, for binge eating, I would never recommend you go on a diet ever again. It's the drastic shift in your diet that's leading to the binge eating. It's one of the main causes of it. It's throwing you all off foundation. You're getting all disoriented and you're going back to the binge eating because that's the thing you know. So yeah, I wouldn't say any diet for binge eating unless you start thinking of a diet as a noun. You know what I mean? Like if you think about how I eat day in and day out, if you're using that word of dieting, then that's a different story. Marilyn says eating all starts in the mind for sure. Absolutely. It's all mindset. Okay. Matabee Vermonters. Oh, made by Vermonters. That's funny to me. I've had what feels like an extra 5 to 10 pounds on me for a few years. I realize all of this information applies whether you want to lose 5 pounds or 50 pounds. Any tips for those who have five or less to go? Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I would say, it costs, in my group program's $1,000. So it's an investment to work with me. But I would say 20 to 30% of my clients are within 5-10 pounds of their weight. Because what a lot of people don't realize is for people that are 5-10 pounds overweight in their mind, it's like they're obsessed. They're as obsessed about their weight as people that are 100 pounds. Like a lot of people don't realize that. And it's like, yeah, physically there's a difference for sure. But mentally, they're just as tortured with the weight. It's such a weird thing that a lot of people don't realize. One of my favorite new clients, I don't know if she's still on here, but she epitomizes this, and it's been a real pleasure to work with her. Because again, and then they have I know people are overweight say, oh fuck, I'd love to have that problem. I know you get it, but yeah, they're just as tortured, and it's almost worse for them because they can't even commiserate with anyone either. You know what I mean? If you're overweight, you can commiserate with all the overweight people of how it sucks. But if you're kind of close to your goal weight and you talk about you're obsessed, no one wants to hear it from you. So I understand what you're going through. Yeah, I love your attitude about this. The humor helps me absorb what you're saying. I'm glad. Yeah. So yeah, the 5 or less pounds, I'll tell you what it comes down to, made by Vermonters. This is what I was saying earlier. For you, it's extra important to realize this, that it's really not about the weight. It's about the self-image. You identify at this point, I'm going to guess, I bet you've been 5-10 pounds away from you said it. Okay. I've been 5-10 pounds away for a few years. yeah, that's become your identity. And I swear it's because you don't even know how to be a thin and healthy person. You always say this, that you've got this overweight mindset and you've got this diet mindset. At best, you diet yourself down to your goal weight, but the same problem exists, that you know how to think like an overweight person, you know how to think like a dieter, and neither of those are going to work long term. And I just want to point out that you never focus on learning how to think like a thin and healthy person. And so I think a lot of people, because I'm not going to say her name, but she knows who she is. She just started around January too, but she's awesome. And again, it hasn't been a ton of weight loss, but we were joking around. There's a lot of mental weight loss, a lot of emotional weight loss, in her brain. And the big difference is, I swear this, with people that are 5-10 pounds over, they're usually extreme overthinkers, extreme perfectionists. And I think they hold this out there because in a weird way, you're controlling your weight. You're in such control of your weight, but you're still keeping yourself 5-10 pounds over. And I think you do that because it allows you to stay in the diet mindset and not be overweight. But it's not really where you want to be. Where you want to be is a thin, healthy person who lives this way naturally, right at their goal weight. Again, I'll tell you one of the greatest phrases you can ever say, ever utter. This is a good video ad too. I'm going to write this down real quick. One of the greatest phrases you can ever utter. Y'all want to know what it is? You got to grab the lightning when it flows here. Yeah, one of the greatest phrases you could ever utter, folks, ever. I weigh exactly what I want to weigh. Oh, that's the greatest, right? That's what we want. So, and I hate to tell you this, because again, physics, and I'll tell, because I know right now watching this, 20-30% of you are right there. You're 5-10 pounds overweight, but you've been that way for as long as you can remember. And you're just tortured by the idea, why can't I just get to my goal weight? It doesn't make any logical sense. It doesn't. It makes a lot of subconscious sense. And so what it comes down to, again, this is program yourself thin as well, because this isn't about losing weight. It's about being the best version of you possible. So it's a completely different framing, which actually makes it so much better. Because you as a dieter, you have to let go of that dieting mindset. You got to let go of this obsession of the 5-10 pounds. You're so obsessed with the 5-10 pounds that it's almost subconsciously, it's terrifying to think of yourself without having to focus and fixate and obsess on those 5-10 pounds. And it scares the shit out of you, so you keep them there. So yeah, that's my tip to you. But if you haven't yet, make sure you go get the hypnosis session. You can click on my link if I know I'm at a couple different sites here, but if you can't find it, you go to programyourselfthin.com, programyourselfthin.com, all one word, and you can get the hypnosis session there as well. But you watch that and then watch the video I made for you, 3 Steps to Master Your Weight. But it goes more deep into the mindset of this. Yeah, Marilyn says the same thing, yeah. I get it right. It's nice to hear, right? Isn't it nice to hear that someone at least gets it? I know, these people get in my program and they just feel so relieved that someone even understands what they're talking about. Because I know, I'll get over it because I shut up. But no, I get it. You're obsessed with it and it's torturous to you, that you just can't just finally get this, But you can. Connie says, can't wait to join your program. I can't wait to see you in the program, Connie. Jade says, Jim, I'm very stressful place in my life and I'm extremely busy. I have a big appetite. I don't know how. Yeah, okay, Jade, but listen, here's the thing. So I still have a fat head. Yeah, that's a funny way to look at it. Right? We literally were joking with that on the coaching call that it's not, she says she'll have 20 pounds of mental weight, because again, she was obsessed with her weight. It was so funny. And for her, the funniest part of it all, by the way, this person who is so smart, so action oriented, so relatively aware on top of it. She's very aware. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, she's here watching it. She loves dogs. You know what I'm talking about. But she had the most biggest blind spot, one of the biggest ones I've ever seen for a person of her quality. Let's put it that way. And this goes back to a point that I always like to make. Why, if you get a chance to work with me, I say you take it. Almost working with anyone is better than just working by yourself. But again, working with me is another story. But here's why I say this. If you close one eye and look at your nose, you see it. Close the other eye, look at your nose, you see it. Open both eyes, your brain deletes your nose, for most of us. And this really gets to a key point of change, which is that a lot of the challenges and solutions that are right in front of your face, you are literally just not seeing. And for this person, it's so funny because I mean, she is such a type A thinker. And the real shift for her strategy wise, there's a lot of mindset shifts, but the big strategy shift was really just to structure the eating, which is so funny to me because she's a very structured type of person. So the fact that she wasn't structuring her eating, again, to me, really clarifies the point that I believe she wanted to keep an extra 5, 10, 15 pounds on so that she could live in this uncomfortable but familiar and comfortable place, you know? And so again, we just miss obvious shit in front of us so often. That's my favorite thing to work with people because the only people that ever join my coaching programs are all overthinking, intelligent, action-oriented people. And so it's always, I love my work because again, once it's just so funny that they see stuff. It's like doing magic tricks in front of them is what it feels like. And once they realize it, everything changes, But Jade, okay, yeah, real quick. Very stressful place in my life. So listen, folks, this is why I think it's so important to take the weight loss rapid and personal development framing is so important because the weight in and of itself doesn't fix a lot of stuff. We need to change more things than just the weight. So when we get into stressful points in life, the weight really can't be the main thing. When someone passes away or you lose a job or you're moving or you're fighting with your partner, when these big life things happening, the weight's not going to be the main thing on your mind. So we need to have strategies where we pull back and say, okay, I'm going to put the weight on the side for a second. I'm not going to go crazy. It's still peripheral vision, but I really need to focus on relaxing. I'm in a very stressful situation. I need to relax. That's my main focus. Now, of course, the more you relax, the more you're simultaneously supporting your weight mastery goals. But that becomes the focus. So for you, Jade, what I would suggest is the reason you have a huge appetite as well is you're super stressed. Stress drives appetite, especially when it's in a standard American environment. So yeah, focusing on relaxation is probably one of the best things you could do to lower your appetite, increase your ability to make better food choices, and ultimately, manage your weight. All right. John says, my salad place is always busy on Monday. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's funny you say that. I'm 5 pounds from my lowest weight in February and 10 to 15 from my goal. Every time I get too low, my mindset quits. Yeah, well, there you go. Now you know why. Oh, okay, and you're in the program. I can't wait to talk about that. Yep. You're so funny. You're in the program. I told you, like 25% of the people rate close to their goal weight. Nuza, do you remember me? I took your course and it worked perfectly. All right. I kind of vaguely do, yeah. Well, I'm going to take a screenshot of that. I always like to see nice stories. I always wonder where to put all my testimonials, but I realize I'm going to start posting them on Instagram stories. You guys don't care, but that's what I'm going to do. Well, good job, Nuza. Nice job. Oh my God, so sorry. Can you repeat about our time for the coaching call? Yeah. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Thursdays are when we do the live calls. I eat healthy, but I'm stuck. The stuck is normal. For most people, just the calorie cutting is not enough for most people. You need to have a lifestyle piece as well. And so that helps you kind of deal with the plateaus that are inevitable when you do the weight loss. All right. But go check my bio, click the link at the hypnosis session, watch the video I made, 3 steps to master your weight. That'll help you deal with the stucks and more things to deal with. I don't eat after 8 p.m. and I eat healthier. Great job, Nuza. Nice job. I'm happy to hear that. By the way, Nuza, if you were in the program, we're doing live classes. So if you ever want kind of refreshers to kind of get some vibes back in the program, you can go check those out. Those are on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. I eat healthy naturally what my body craves. Nice job. It's not the food, it's the programming. Makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Because none of the foods are bad. I mean, people always say, oh, there's no bad foods. Don't demonize foods. I get what you're saying technically, but at the same time, there are good and bad foods. If I give you a plate of cookies or a plate of apples, one's going to support your weight loss a lot more than the other one. So yeah, again, I can't stand when people just like separate all reality from the technical truths. Yes, calories are calories on a technical truth, but if I give you, a plate of cookies versus a plate of apples, one of those is going to cause you to want to eat a lot more calories than the other. So we should appreciate that too. Can I add natural honey to my carnivore's diet? I don't know anything about a carnivore diet except it seems silly. So sure, add honey to it. Why don't you add some vegetables and fruits to it though first? I'm just joking with you. I'm joking. Program yourself then is diet agnostic. I support any diet anyone wants to do. I've worked with carnivores. I've worked with vegans. I'll work with anyone in between. Whatever a person feels is best for them, I support them in that. Okay. But I do encourage you to really reflect on, is this diet for me? Do I feel good doing this carnivore diet? Does it make sense to me? Do I feel good doing keto? Is it relatively easy for me to do? Make sure it resonates with you. Because if it doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to do it. There's a million ways to lose weight. Okay. But whatever way you choose, make sure it's something that really resonates and works for you. That's the most important thing to get it to work long time. All right. I do really good until I get discouraged, and then I self-sabotage all my progress and go into depression. Any advice for that? Yeah. I got total advice for that. Everything I'm saying is advice to that. Again, that's like what I was just saying, where the problem shows up is not where it was created. The problem's not that you get self-sabotage and go into depression. The problem is how you're losing weight in the first place. I do really good. That makes my ears tingle, because really good, I don't know you. I don't know what you're doing, but I bet really good something in the ballpark of keto, intermittent fasting, cutting down to 1,200 calories, hyper restricting. And I don't think that's good, because I think of good as being something sustainable. I just made a video like this. I joke all the time, stop romanticizing your shitty failed diets. If I hear one more person tell me how great keto was because they lost, 80 pounds 2 years ago, I don't give a shit. That ain't a good diet. Why aren't you still doing it then if it was so great? Did you not like being not like being at your goal weight? You prefer to be overweight? Keto was amazing, but I just decided I didn't really like being at my goal weight. Nah, you stop doing it because you hate doing it. And so if you hate doing it, it's not a good diet. Does that make sense? But again, Z, without knowing what you were doing, again, my first inclination is that you're doing really good is something that requires strict focus and is difficult to maintain, and that's why you didn't sabotage yourself. Again, self-sabotage I don't believe in. I don't believe anyone self-sabotages. I believe they don't have good strategies for long-term success. And you can only force yourself and fight against yourself for so long. So a good strategy is one that you can ride out even when you're feeling like shit. I'm on the fence half the time, but I got so many strategies. I got so many different levels of things supporting me that it's that's where I'm at. If I was on a diet like a typical person, I'd be doing just as shitty as the rest of you do on it. I don't have some magical willpower. I want you to understand that. I have like strategy upon strategy and awareness and mindset. I'm just, again, that's why in the program we go through the weight mastery blueprints, mindset, lifestyle, eating. There's 6 categories in mindset, 8 categories in lifestyle, and 3 layers of the eating. And it's like, you look at what's your strategy to lose weight? I'll give you a hint. There is none. You have no strategy. You have a tactic. You're going to force yourself to follow one tactic. Again, stop eating carbs. Maybe you'll combine them and not eat carbs and not eat for 16 hours, but you've got tactics that you're trying to force yourself to follow with willpower. That's not strategy. And it's unsustainable for the vast majority of people. Why very few people get results. What's the best way to lose weight as a binge eater? The best way to lose weight as a binge eater is to get a hold of the binge eating, right? I think that's obvious, which is way easier than you think. See, because again, what you're doing is, it's like if you live on the bottom of a hill and you keep getting whacked with 10-foot tall snowballs. You can't let the snowballs get to be 10 feet and come at you 50 miles an hour. You got to catch them when they're small, the size of a baseball. And what you're doing, your binge eating, I can almost guarantee, is triggered by extreme hunger caused by extreme restriction and or some emotional thing going on that you don't know how to deal with. I would bet that some part of that. There might be other things too, but I would say that's the big thing. So again, I wouldn't even be thinking about losing weight right now. I'd be thinking about getting a handle on the binge eating, because binge eating is horrible for you to do consistently for your health. Never mind your weight. Everyone says it's just because I'm middle-aged. No, the middle-aged thing, don't get me wrong. There's real challenges. There's real challenges of getting older and, physical issues, Hashimoto's, PCOS, insulin resistance. All of these things are real. But again, that's why the lifestyle piece is so important, because it positively impacts you in the way that those things negatively impact you. And then when you come with the right mindset and the right eating strategies, you can have control of your weight. My whole career, I've been doing this professionally for 20 years. My whole career has been working with with women in some phase of menopause, either pre, post, peri, whatever. And so I know a lot of women walking around thinking they can't lose weight because of metabolism, Yeah, Nasli just says, I'm struggling since I turned 45. I don't lose weight as easily anymore. Yeah, granted, I wouldn't disagree with that, but you can still lose weight. And again, it's not about, I know this sounds like just semantics, but it's not about losing weight. It's about living at your goal weight. That mind shift is everything. Because when you think about losing weight, you think, well, I could do that for a little while to lose the weight. When you think about living at your goal weight, it's a completely different process. You think about, how can I live for the rest of my life? Let me put it this way. Let me make it clearer. The way that I live, the way that I eat, I want to live and eat this way for the rest of my life. I want to live and eat this way for the next 100 years. I love it. Now, I know I'm going to keep tweaking and optimizing, and so it'll be different as the years go on. But it's like, I love it. It's custom built for me. Again, just eating wise, we follow the 5-2 model, 5 days of clean eating, 2 days of pleasure eating. So there's a unique strategy there. I know what you're thinking. Oh, I could never eat for pleasure days for 2 days, Jim. Oh my God, that would mess everything up. You don't know shit because you don't even know how to eat for pleasure. So don't tell me that. You don't think being able to eat for pleasure is a key part of mastering your weight? Why do you think you keep binging every time you go off a diet? Anyways. But yeah, so there's just so much strategy there. I can't lay it all out for you, but it's like, again, if you go get the bio, you click the link, get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made. I kind of lay it out in a more systemic way. So if you are even remotely serious, which most of you probably are, again, don't take this the wrong way. That's why I try and say the saddest thing about weight loss to me is people saying and so upset that they can't lose weight. And they'll say, I can't lose weight. And I have never seen that to be true. I literally have never seen someone who can't lose weight. I see people that don't want to lose weight. Let me phrase it. They don't want to lose weight enough to do the things that make them lose weight. I have someone, I don't know if she's still here, but she just joined the program and she just went through that, and she was so happy because we were doing a coaching call and I was talking to her and it was like, you would think most of the time, like, it's bullshit, cut the bullshit. Of course you can lose weight. I know you're menopause, but of course you can lose weight. And she was like, you have her face light up. And she was like, thank you. Because I know a lot of people walking around thinking, like, well, I can't lose weight because of this. But if you believe that you can't lose weight because you're in menopause, don't you realize that's going to show up as you not really trying and doing the things enough to lose the weight? Because you got this fallback excuse that's a belief too, okay? But if you believe that no matter what you do, you can't lose weight, how hard are you going to try? It's such a powerless belief. It all comes down to calories. And I don't give a shit if you're full-blown menopause or not. You cut your calories down, you're going to lose weight. Maybe not as fast as you used to, but you still lose it. I see Danielle. My advice: everyone listening needs to get into this program. Life-changing. You'll never ever have another weight loss program. It's true. This is about weight mastery. So you keep just trying. You're at the roulette wheel. Oh, I'll put my money on keto this time. I'll put my money on Weight Watchers. I'll do that again. Work for my mom, my grandma. Why not for me one more time? And it's like, cut that shit out. This is what I'm saying. This program, in essence, I try to compare it to, like, if you want to become a plumber or an accountant, it's like, oh, get a plumbing for dummies and see if you learn plumbing. That's kind of like how you're approaching dieting. It's like, instead of just signing up for a plumber course or an accountant course, is there any question in the world you're going to end up on the other side of that if you do it as a plumber or an accountant? But that's not how you approach your weight loss. Oh, let's see. Let's give another spin on the wheel. Pull the arm. Let's see if it works this time. Like, you're so, like, not even committed. You know what I mean? You don't really believe it's going to work. You don't even have any. Because again, with a diet, it's like you forcing yourself to follow this plan. And then you don't follow it one day. Where do you go from there? Oh, I didn't have enough willpower. You don't even know what to do. With Program Yourself Thin, for example, it's like, it's kind of like, I talk about the weight mastery pyramid, right? So it's like mindset, there's 6 categories. Lifestyle, there's 8 habits. And then the eating, there's 3 levels to things. So it's like, oh, I've had a bad day. You can look at this pyramid and you can diagnose where the problem is and then fix it. You ain't got no ability to diagnose shit on a diet. It's either you're on it 100% or you're an asshole who can't do it. And then just beat yourself up, So it's just, I don't know. It's like that. Yeah, still hear it exactly. It's mentally freeing to hear it. Powerless feels so bad, knowing it's okay that it can be slower, but still possible. This is what I'm saying. Yes, it might be a little slower. And I swear, this is just crazy talk on some level, but I swear some of it's real physically, right? There are shifts that happen in our bodies as we get older that can encourage weight loss to go slower than it did in the past. But some of it's mental too. And I swear we just miss so much stuff we're doing. And so if you don't believe it's going to work, I'm telling you, I've seen it. I'm the one that's done over 6,000 private weight loss sessions. I've got like the most unique, what I have done is so unique because I'll tell you what, no one does this. Not to sound like, I'm not trying to sound conceited here, but no one has spent their time helping people live at their goal weight by focusing on their mindset. It's a very, very niche skill, and it doesn't make any sense. It's a $72 billion weight loss industry, but 71.999 of those dollars are spent on people telling you what to do, what to eat, how to exercise. And almost none of it is spent on how do you get yourself to do it. And that's what I've been doing. And so you start to notice patterns. And the patterns a lot of times are that people don't even realize they're self-sabotaging, they think, but in reality, they're sabotaging in an obvious way they just don't see. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, once you realize, yeah, your weight's a reflection of what you're eating calorically on average. It's very freeing because now you're put in control again. You know? Yeah. Just as an accountant, I love your analogy. Oh, I didn't know you were an accountant. All right. So that makes a lot of sense, right? Again, you don't even have to be good with numbers necessarily. If you go to accounting school, you'll come out the other end being able to do accounting. Do you understand? And that's what I'm saying. Once we break down weight loss into some components that you can understand, all of a sudden you kind of illuminate areas that you're completely lacking in. Like when I talk about the mindset, first of all, I hate when mindset's a buzzword now and people use it, but they use it as another word for willpower. Like, come on, you gotta have the right mindset. Come on. You gotta come on, you gotta want it. Well, you can keep fucking saying it to me, but it doesn't mean I can just do it. You know, so it's crazy. Like we've got to deal with our mindset. And if I told you to change your mindset, if I told you what are the components of mindset, you wouldn't be able to answer it. I know this for a fact. Because this, I will say, is one thing I had to come up with on my own. So what I think mindset comes down to is motivation, knowing how to motivate yourself. Self-image. What's your identity and how the hell do we change it to that of a thin and healthy person? Habits. Do you know how to strategically influence your habits? Not just change them with willpower. That doesn't work. How to systematically, neuroscientifically backed, change your habits so they last in a new helpful way on autopilot. Emotions. Do you know how to deal with your emotions? Do you know how to feel the emotions you want to feel? Deal with the shitty emotions you don't want to feel. Thinking. Do you know how to think like a thin and healthy person? Like literally the nuts and bolts, what questions to ask, how to think about food, health, your lifestyle. Do you know how to think that way? You don't. And then maintenance. Do you know how to maintain? Times of stress. Times when the scale's not moving. Do you know how to maintain during those times? Once you know all those things, now you've got a mindset of a thin and healthy person. Don't you think that matters? It's so weird. Oh. Too many people tell folks that they can't lose weight. Absolutely. And I believe that's a whole thing. I think I think all the stuff you're reading about how hard it is to lose weight is, I swear half of that's funded by the food industry. I swear to God. I truly believe it in my heart because no one ever talks about the mindset of it. And they give you all these reasons why all the people that lose weight put it back on. They never talk about mindset. I love that stuff. It's always the people that are obese and people that are overweight, they lose the weight and then put it back on. Why? Well, their appetite signaling is different than yours as a thin person. I get that, and I'm not disputing that, but how'd they lose the weight in the first place then? How'd they lose the weight in the first place with all this broken signaling? How'd they do it? Well, they were really motivated during that time, and they just fought against it more. I get it, but if they could do it for those, because if you're obese and you lose 150 pounds, you've been doing it for a year, 2 years. So how did that person with their broken brain, see, they do the same shit with the drugs and the alcohol, right? Because drug addicts and alcoholics have broken brains that can't process like ours do. It's a disease that they can't change, except for the people that change it. Don't get upset with me, okay? I know there's more to it than I'm simplifying, but that we got to agree that we're always fed this message that they can't change because their brains are broken. But then what about all the people that stop doing alcohol and being drug addicts and that lose weight forever? Does anyone think about focusing on them? Does anyone wonder, hey, how'd you do that? That's the biggest mystery of the world to me. This is what changed my life when I was 19. I got exposed to neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. And that was their core philosophy. To me, it's a lot of things. Some of the things hold up, some things don't. But the core idea is this, that you find the person that's getting the results you want and you find out how they did it. Not just what they did. How did they think about things to get those results? And that's what changed my whole life because I wanted to lose weight. And it turns out I was surrounded by people that were struggling with their weight that would give me all the advice in the world. I always joke about this is a true story. The guy who taught me more about diets than anyone on the planet was a 400-pound comedian, Mark Rossi. Great guy. Used to be a family friend. Spent the last 20 years of his life in a wheelchair because he never lost the weight. But every week, this guy would have a different diet he was doing. And he spent thousands and thousands of dollars. He would talk to me for hours about what the diet did, how it was supposed to work, what he was going to eat, this supplement he was going to take, all of it. You know? And so the big shift was stop listening to people that are always struggling with their weight and start listening to people that have lost the weight and kept it off for at least 2 years. And I began speaking with them. I would say, spoiler alert, you know where I met a lot of them? The Y. And I began talking to them about it. And that was like, it was like seeing the stars for the first time. I mean, it was like instantly, I was like, oh, holy shit. They think about things completely different than all of these people. And that was literally the birth of Program Yourself Thin. And that was the beginning of me dropping 50 pounds and keeping it off forever. Because it's all this mindset. You know, it's so much the mindset. And once you learn how to think like a thin, healthy person, you live like a thin, healthy person, you act like a thin, healthy person, you eat like a thin, healthy person. And what do you think happens when you do those things? You become a thin and healthy person, you know? Maybe a reminder says, wow, that blew my mind. Yes, I'm absolutely obsessed with that extra 5 pounds. It almost consumes 30% of my daily thoughts. Shifting my focus to living as a thin, healthy person makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I'm glad, I know you wrote that a minute ago, but I like what you said, the 30%. I would ask that to sometimes people, like, how much of your time do you spend a day thinking about food, your weight, exercising, all of that stuff? And I think 30% is low. I think you'll find. I find a lot of people, it's the majority idea in their head. You know, what you don't realize is that when you're always thinking about losing weight on the surface, right? There's surface, this is linguistic things. There's surface structure and deep structure. Surface meaning, deep meaning. When you say to yourself, I want to lose weight, what you don't realize is that on the upside down world, is that Stranger Things, right? The upside down world, right? So when you say to yourself, I want to lose weight, subconsciously what that means is that I'm overweight. Okay? And so I know you want to lose weight, but subconsciously what that's reinforcing is the identity of an overweight person. And so you're trapped in this dynamic where you're focused on weight loss, but simultaneously you're reinforcing the identity of being an overweight person. As a dieter, you're an overweight person, right? There's no thin and healthy dieters. Do you see? So you're trapped in very subtle ways that you just can't see. And so with Program Yourself Thin, what we're looking to do is to put yourself into the mindset. And at first it feels a little weird. You're imagining it. But what would it feel like to be thin and healthy? What's it feel like to be the person I want to be? That's what Program Yourself Thin, that technique I was talking about. Every day it gives you the opportunity to connect to who you want to be. Reinforce it, grow it, practice it. And what happens is you start to want to be that person. You start to know how to be that person. And you start to be that person. But what's your shit? Oh, I know what I got to do. I just got to do it. What's that mean? What does that mean? You know? Nothing. Natalie says, I'm definitely checking out your program now. Super. Yeah, check it out. You'll find it. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, the longer I go on, I try and be humble about it, but it's just like, I mean, nothing's even close, you know? And now there's 2 versions of the program. There's a coaching version where I literally work with you, right? It's a group coaching program. I keep the group small so I can spend time with you. But there's another version without the group coaching. You just do it yourself if financially it's too much. But either one of these programs, price-wise, I know even the lower one you can do. You split the payments up. So there's nothing like this. You know, again, I'm not here to sell you the program. That's not what I want to make this of. But if you've had enough of the fucking weight, oh my God. And even just sit for a minute and sit with yourself and think about, what do you plan on doing to lose the weight? I can guess it's something you've tried many, 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 many times before. Why would it be any different now? You've got to do something different, you know? So yeah, go check it out, Nasli. Lindsay says, looking forward to signing up with you. Thank you for your time. You're welcome, Lindsay. Yeah, look forward to seeing you in the program. Yeah, so sad. You're so right that long-term health is more motivating than how we look, but we need to reflect on that. Yeah, absolutely, Deanna. That's what I mean. We have to. Again, your number one motivator to lose weight is that you want to look better. What you don't realize is that's the least powerful motivation. The most powerful motivation is realizing, clarifying, cleansing the lenses of your perception that what you're putting into your mouth and how you're living is probably going to be the number one factors of how long you live, how long you're alive for, walking this earth. Don't mean to get harsh on you here, to bring you down, but we need to tap into real motivation. And wanting to look better ain't it. God damn, you're gonna argue with me about it? Do you really think you're super motivated because you want to look better and it's just not working? Do you really think you're motivated to lose weight if you're not? Sandra says, love seeing you and hearing you. Thank you. Love being here for you all. Hope it helps out. But yeah, you do things different. Everyone says it's just because I'm middle-aged. It's not just because you're middle-aged. It's because you're eating too many calories. I don't know how to stop eating. Like, I'm not hungry, but I can't stop myself. Then I feel guilty. Yeah, I get it. Listen, this is why I don't know why you're eating either. I have an idea that you have nothing. Why are we eating? Why do we keep eating so much? You know, there's so many reasons to it all. I don't know. You don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? I wish I could just say one thing and you just all lose a bunch of weight. If I could, I would tell you. Okay, I would. It's just not that way. It's like dieters are so obsessed with just chasing like short-term fixes. And I always say like I play guitar, and if you play any music, if you do anything that you've done for a while, there's always short-term solutions out there that they're selling. You know, there's like how to master the piano in 24 hours. Like, of course you're not, right? But people just want to believe it. But dieters are like that to the extreme. You know, there just is no simple thing. So I don't know how to stop eating when I'm not even hungry. I'm just bored of eating. I don't know how to stop it. Yeah, well, you'd probably have to spend a couple months on that, figuring it out. Oh my God, a couple months, Jim, I don't have time for that. Yeah, I know you have time for it. But it's like you don't have time for any of this shit. You're so impatient with your weight loss. You only consider fast weight loss plans. And yet when you look at yourself over the last couple of years, you haven't lost any weight. You know? So it's like you got to be honest with yourself, which isn't an easy thing to do. That's why I do this for you all. And I always remind you, and you know it anyways. I know you know this. But I do this out of love because I think your weight is life and death. I want you to be here as long as you can. So that's what I was saying. People's biggest motivator is they want to look better. But the most powerful motivator is this is probably going to be the biggest factors, what you're eating and how you're living is going to be the number one factors on how long you're alive for. And number two, they're going to be the number one factors on your quality of life. Then there's how you look. That's how you should set up your motivation. But it's painful. It's funny. I made a video last week. It was about the painful way to motivate yourself to lose weight. And it was kind of just like a quick video, but that one did like over 300,000 views. And I was like, wow, that's funny. It just makes me realize because what the diets are always doing is they're trying to just jerk you around by making you want to wear a bathing suit to the beach. It's just superficial motivation that lasts a little bit. And it's not up for the task, dude. I always say like you're motivationally, you don't even want to lose weight. I can't say that enough. And I love when it triggers people. I love that. But motivationally, you're bringing a stick to a bazooka fight. It ain't up for the task. I just made this video. I can't wait to release this one. I know people get pissed, but it's like, it'd be like going up to a drug addict or an alcoholic and saying, hey, you know what? You should quit the drugs and the alcohol. You'd lose some weight. You'd look better. You think that would work for them? You think that'd be enough motivation for a drug addict? Say, hey, you know what? It's making your teeth will look better. You'd look better. You could smile more. They don't give a shit about that. And you don't give a shit about how you look. You like it. It would be cool to look better. You don't really care. Do you really think you care that much and you just haven't been able to do it? Like, what a horrible message to give yourself that you're like so motivated on a level 10 to lose weight and you haven't done it. What a horrible idea that is. I can't think of a more powerless thought and idea than that. You know? I'm telling you, you weigh what you want to weigh. And if you don't believe me, let me know and I'll prove it to you. Maybe I have Vermonters. I keep thinking you're mad at me. I feel crazy admitting this, but do you know how the anticipation of something can be more fun and exciting than the actual result? Am I afraid to lose that 5 pounds for this reason? Any thoughts? Yeah, it's definitely that. Again, that's the dopamine thing. I was kind of alluding to it, but I don't want to go too much. It gets a little technical, and I don't want to explain it all right now, but that's how it is. The anticipation of things is more. We have more wiring for the anticipation of pleasure than the experience of pleasure itself. Because it takes more effort to get that thing than it does to experience the pleasure of it. So yeah, absolutely. I think part of it is that you hold this anticipation out to keep yourself in this weird motivational sweet spot. And then B, that you're scared shitless of being at your goal weight. Because again, I joke around like, and you might have heard me just say this, but I'll say it again. But if I ask you like, what's the Chinese word for chair? Like notice how that feels. Right? There's nothing comes to mind. It's complete blank, complete absence. right? When I ask you to think about yourself being a thin and healthy person for the rest of your life, living exactly at your goal weight, notice how it's very similar to that. It's just it's an absence of thought. There's nothing there. What you have well-worn neural networks of being the person who's always struggling with their weight, even though you're 5 pounds away. So it's like a desired struggle. It's the struggle you feel most comfortable with. You know, it's the sweet spot for your struggle. So, which is funny because you could go either way with that. You know, on one hand, you could just go and accepting it, let all that shit go, and just live at the weight you're living at, just to move your weight up a little. Okay. Or the other side is you say, no, I want to be the thin, healthy person I want to be. And I want to weigh exactly this amount. That would make me feel like $1 million. Not just because of how I look, because that 5 pounds is not going to make much difference in how you look, just so you know. So you could choose either one, and you know, they're both going to be better for you. But at the end, these are the mind games we play with ourselves, that you're all doing this to yourselves. You're all playing these weird mind games with yourself that you don't even realize you're playing. That's why, again, my coaching is the most value I can offer, because I know your mind games more than you do, and I can see them in a second, and I can point them out to you. And again, the people that join my program are all smart, action-oriented people. So once it's pointed out to them, it's you know, it's like the angels singing up in the heaven. You know what I mean? It's like, because I know Matabee. I'm joking. I keep thinking your name's Matabee, but I know like your favorite question. I know your it's more than 30%, but whatever. Okay. 30% of your thinking about stuff is you're obsessed with questions like, why can't I get to my goal weight? Why do I keep screwing up? Why can't I stick to this plan? Why can't I do this? What's wrong with me? You're always focusing on the problem. And if we just take some of that energy and start diverting it over to the solution, it becomes an absolute game changer for you. So I hope that makes sense. Mariah says, impulsivity for my ADHD, binge eating, searching for that dopamine. Yeah, absolutely. I get it, Mariah. And again, you can have ADHD. You're almost in a better position because you at least identify that as the challenge. You're better off than a lot of people without ADHD that don't realize that their distraction and dopamine searching is what's at the core of it. So you can still deal with that. PCOS and weight loss. Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, I have a client I'm working with right now, and I've worked with multiple people with PCOS that lose weight. So it comes down to how much food you're eating consistently, your lifestyle, and then that all depends on your mindset. So yeah, go check out the hypnosis session and the video I made, and everything I talk about in there is applicable to PCOS. I put myself in a recovery completely from binge eating. When I get discouraged, though, I don't care about myself. I go into a depression and set myself back. Any advice for this? Yeah, Z, it's not about the fucking food. Do you see what I'm saying? This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. People talking about like exactly this. Like your words are very interesting that you're using. When you talk about recovery completely, you know, there's my ears are tingling with eating disorders, substance abuse in the past, something maybe a background like that. And so you're looking at food and abstinence only model, which is all horrible. I don't believe in abstinence only models for food. I love my Bright Lines lady. I love her. I don't believe in that for food. Overeaters Anonymous. Again, some people, if they thrive, there's always outliers, but for the vast majority of people, it's a broken model for this area. Anyways, that being said, when it comes to binge eating and depression, I would suggest that you don't try and fix the binge eating so that you lose weight. I would say I'd put the weight behind the depression in order of importance. And I'd make this about dealing with the depression. You know what I mean? Because right now you're going through this pattern that makes you feel depressed. But you're thinking about it that you're binging and then screwing up your diet. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the priorities are backwards. You know? And when you put them right side up, it changes everything. The live got stuck sometimes. Uh-oh. My diet is actually healthy and I eat very clean. Just my appetite is like a teenage boy and I'm 5'3". I hate the way that I always eat so much and I can't fix that. You absolutely can fix it, Jade. You just don't know how. You 100% can fix that. Casey says, 3 48-hour fasts a week. What do you think? I think for the average person, that's going to be fucking goofy because you're going to be miserable. So, but you let me know how it goes, Casey. I'm on here every weekday, Monday through Friday. So you get on here, let me know how it's going next week. And then more importantly, if you miss next week, I would love to hear from you next month and see how your 3 48-hour fasts are going. Wow, that's insane. How do you get over that? I keep myself overweight for sure. Yeah, because you're comfortable being overweight. Yes. Wouldn't that be every day but one? That's funny, right? That's a very astute observation. That's what's funny to me anyways. That's the dieting thing. I always joke about that with the keto thing. Diets are built around the one thing tactic where they know you're overwhelmed and exhausted and frustrated and just on the point of giving up before you even start with your diet. So they try and always make them seem really simple. So they make them seem simple because they focus on one thing. And keto's the classic, my favorite example of this, where it's like, just stop eating carbs. And it's like, oh shit, conceptually, you're like, oh, I get it. That sounds so simple. That sounds easy. But the flip side of just stop eating carbs is completely change how you eat. Well, that sounds a little more daunting. And so you pulled that on me, Casey. You pulled it and you got caught. Yeah, 3 48-hour fast sounds ridiculous anyways, but it's even funnier when you think, yeah, that's one day of normal eating. But let me know how that goes. I do 3 48-hour fasts a week. Do you think it's sustainable? I mean, there's a lot of people on the planet, you know, so it's like there's 8 billion people. I'm sure for some people that would be easy as pie, you know, no problem. Now, if you're trying to do that because you're trying to lose weight, now I think you're going to have a hard time with it, because if you got yourself in a situation to be overweight, now you're going to try and only eat one day a week. I think it's not sustainable, and I don't think it's doable for 1 week. So let me know how that goes. Astra says, I lost a lot of mental and emotional weight thanks to the program. The physical weight comes when I get there. Yeah, exactly, Astrid. And Astrid started, like, and I know you don't mind me saying this, Astrid, but it's like, because no one knows the details of it, but Astrid started the program real fucked up emotionally. Like outlier fucked up emotionally, where she couldn't even talk about things, got choked on the words. Couldn't even get them out. So, you know, in 3 months, I think, 4 months, the transition has been absolutely amazing. And so this is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you got to put the mental and emotional things before the weight loss piece. And then you get to the weight loss piece in a congruent way where you get the results you want. You know? Z says, I'm only 25. I've been in fight or flight mode my whole life. Super inflamed, but can't let go of this being my identity. I'm only about 15 to 20 pounds overweight. It's definitely a control thing for me, keeping myself stuck. Yeah. Again, that's why I say all of you dieters do the one same thing, where it's always, you're always fixating on what's wrong with you, because you're looking at your behavior, and because you're not being perfect with your ridiculous expectations, that sends you into a depressed cycle, an anxiety cycle, upset cycle. And so you're never focusing on, how can I actually feel more relaxed and calm? How can I feel better? You can feel better. Like, that's the trick of life in a way. As a dieter, you're holding your good feelings hostage. You're saying, I won't feel successful, happy, beautiful, attractive until I lose the weight. And so you don't let yourself feel any of the wonderful feelings that are going to help you be successful, and you hold them hostage. And so what I know that you probably don't is you can feel instantly amazing right now. I got a session, actually. Did I record it? Did I not record that session? I did, but I'm going to record it a little differently. But you can feel any emotion you want right now. You can feel beautiful right now. Can you imagine? I know you don't believe me, but you can. And yeah, maybe you'll feel more beautiful when you reach your goal weight. Fine. But you can feel beautiful now, and that's going to be helpful. So that's a huge part of things. Jade, I can't make my eating structured. Literally half of my day is in my demanding uni scholarship, and the other half is going out to eat with my new fiance. None of my meals are planned because my life isn't planned. Like, that's not true, Jade. I'm not saying that it's harder for you. No doubt about it. Okay. Everything's on a spectrum. All right. So yeah, it's easier for me. I work from home. It's easier for me. I structure my eating. That's easier for me. I don't travel. I don't like traveling that much. I don't travel for work. I work from home because that's how I like to do it. And I'm lucky enough to be able to do it that way. So yeah, it's easier for me. I wouldn't argue that, but there's no doubt that you could improve. You could absolutely make your eating more structured. I don't give a shit if half your day is in a demanding university. You know what your demanding university schedule is going to be. It's not, you don't wake up each morning and then get your scheduled emailed to you and then have to figure it out. And even if you did, you could still come up with strategies. Even with your demanding university schedule, you still have opportunities to structure your eating. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not to the level I'm able to do it, but more than you're doing currently. And that lack of structure is what's throwing you off. Right? I'm telling you, if you reflect on your binge eating, you're going to notice that it's happening on days when you didn't eat anything and now you're starving. or you didn't eat anything and now you're all weird emotionally. And so, yes, it's harder for you and you may not be able to structure as much as I, but you absolutely can structure more than you're currently doing. That's a limiting belief. I'm stuck in my weight, healthy, 56-year-old, and I don't overeat. It's not that you overeat. You just eat more than you can at your goal weight, if that makes sense. You know? I'm stuck in my weight, eat healthy, 56 years old. Easy for you to say. 56 years old, and I don't overeat. So what do you think would happen if I came into your life and controlled all your food intake and I lowered your food intake by 15, 20%? What do you think would happen in over 3 months? Thoughts on prolonged fasting? I just answered those. Other half is going out. Yep, just answered that one too. Home-cooked meals aren't accessible for me because I'm always out. Yeah, home-cooked meals are ideal, but you don't even just need home-cooked meals. You know, again, Jay, what I'm saying is, again, there's a spectrum, right? So it's like, yeah, there's eating fast food every night because I have no time at all, and every night's a home-cooked, natural, healthy meal, okay? I don't know where you're at on the spectrum. I don't know where you are. But if you're closer to here, we don't have to just go over here. We could go from here to here by adding a couple fruits in, preparing a salad, finding healthier things to eat wherever you're at, being more calm when you're making food decisions. There's a lot of things you can do to improve the eating. Improve. Again, in Program Yourself, then we follow the 1% improvement strategy, which is every day we want to get 1% better. You dieters want to get yourself better 100% on day one. And so you think in this all or nothing mindset all the time. And so instead of looking for systematic, strategic, simple things to improve by 1%, you're like, well, I can't structure everything because I'm doing this. Yeah, okay, but could you make it a little healthier? Is there any way you could make it 5% healthier this week? Anything you could think of? I'm busting your chops too, by the way. Don't take it that personally. Thoughts on long? Casey, did you get that answer? That it's funny. You keep asking that question. It seems silly every time I read it. Don't you all think that, folks? Don't you think if you had to fast 24, 36, 84 hours a week, how would that work for you? Imagine not eating for 2 days in a row every week. I mean, I guess if all you do is just sleep in bed, like if you don't have any job or any responsibilities in life and all you do is just lay in bed and not eat, I guess maybe fasting is a great solution, you know, but if you have any kind of life that you have to do things, not eating for 2 days, let me know how that goes. What's up, Karen? Yes, I'm sick of thinking of myself as an overweight person. Think of something else just clicked. That's great, Karen. Super, super. Food addiction. I mean, it's all food addiction, right? All these foods are hyper addictive. You need to make a distinction between processed, hyper palatable, addictive foods and natural whole foods. You know, again, one simple way is to look at like food and food stuff. Most of the things in the supermarket are food stuff. If you can clarify that alone, is such a mindset shift in how you think about food. It's so tremendous. Dying Diva says, super great advice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bill says, I really appreciated your Will You Dress Different video. Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, that video really blew up. I thought that was funny. Those videos do well. Like when you get to imagine yourself the way you want to be. And I'm glad because it's fun. You know, it's not enough. Not enough. You know, that's why law of attractions type thinking, visualization type thinking, it ain't enough. It's a piece of the puzzle, I do believe. I think it's good to connect yourself with the goal to kind of charge it up, but it's not enough. You need strategies. You need like a real plan you're following to get those results. And I hate that about the law of attraction side of things personally, because it's not enough. You know, I mean, it wouldn't work in any other context. You go law of attraction yourself that you're a great piano player without practicing. Let me know how it goes. Right? Go ahead. So go visualize you run a marathon every day and let me see how you do on the marathon you sign up for. I'm glad you enjoyed that though. I fast every day, 16 hours a day, 7 p.m. to 11 a.m. There we go. So yeah, so I mean, like maybe that's kind of intense for you. I find that all the time. I mean, intermittent fasting, I'm biased. I get people that intermittent fasting didn't work well for, but it didn't work well for them because they're getting themselves so hungry and not eating. By the time they get to eat, they're overeating and it's hard to control themselves. So sometimes you can't stop eating carbs. There you go. Is it that you can't stop eating carbs, or is it that you can't stop eating carbs when you're starving and you're starving every day around 11 o'clock? And once you start eating at 11, it's really hard to control the carb intake. You know what I mean? We got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The diet industry focuses, hey, just stop eating carbs. Oh, I ate carbs today. That's because you didn't want it bad enough. You got to stop eating carbs. Yeah, but what about my lifestyle? Stop eating carbs. Yeah, but I'm going to a birthday party this weekend for my nephew. It's going to be, just stop eating carbs. Bring a piece of carb-free cake. Would that be a steak? Your steak cake? Is that what carnivores eat for their birthday? Steak cakes? Never. A steak cake. Oh, goofy. I'm not against intermittent fasting, by the way. I don't know if Vicky's here. She gets mad at me for that. I don't mind intermittent fasting as a concept. I feel like it's unrealistic and impractical and ineffective for most people in America. Just jumping into not eating for 16 hours. And it becomes another stress that adds to making it harder. You don't succeed with it, but you won't give up on it. And you just keep trying it and stuck with it. MLV says your advice makes so much sense. I'm tired of all this BS. Do not eat meat. Do not eat this or that. You take the simple and make it doable. There you go. Now, the downside of that is you need to be more patient. Okay? That's probably the biggest challenge for most dieters. But again, I hit you with a phrase I've said a couple times, and I like saying this, that most people overestimate how much weight they can lose in a month and underestimate how much weight they can lose in a year. So when you shift that approach and you start to be more patient, carnivore birthday cake recipe. Yeah. Get a big hunk of meat and cook it. Put a candle, drill a hole in it, and then put a candle in the hole. Lindsay says, how do you become more solution-oriented about your body weight? I get what you're saying about how focusing on losing weight confirms your identity of an overweight person. Oh, stop. I liked my recipe worse. Oh, now this is grosser. 2 cups of pork rind flour, half a cup of glycerin, half a cup of in subtle pinch stevia, monk fruit extract. Some cream, some eggs, some baking powder, some blueberries. All right. Pork rind flour. Oh, that's hilarious. There's pork rind flour. What a world we live in, huh? Is it fried pork rind flour on top of it? Oh, that's friggin' muscle. My kid's an assassin. This kid's killing me. Pork rind flour. Well, we all learned something new, and that's what I learned new today. Yeah, how do you become more solution-oriented? It's a mindset. I will tell you, I mean, again, I'm not just saying this to promote my program, but I think that to become more solution-oriented, there's one of the big challenges is that our brain has a negativity bias. Okay, we've evolved in a food scarce environment. We've evolved in a food scarce environment, in a scarce environment, where having a negative mindset was more effective for survival. Right? It was more important to remember where the lion was than where the beautiful flower was. So we all have a negativity bias. You know this. I put a video out, and you know, it could have 1,000 comments on it. 999 are wonderful. One's negative. That's what I remember. You know. So when it comes to weight loss, you have to understand that you have a negativity bias, and there's no changing it. Okay. And so your negativity bias kind of disposes you to recognize, again, right? How many times have you done great for 5 days? You screw up the 6th day and you feel like you blew it, right? Well, that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is you improved 92% of your eating this week. Great. You know, but we don't look at it that way. So negativity bias is a real thing. So when we make a mistake in whatever, and again, you're funny. So Lindsay, so that was the other person. But so I don't know about you, Lindsay, but a lot of people, you'll make one mistake and now you start into the conversation about what's wrong with you. Again, overthinkers, perfectionists love this question. What's wrong with me? Because deep down you think if you finally get an answer, it's going to change everything. You think if you ask the question, what's wrong with me enough, and you finally get an answer, it's going to solve everything. But it's not. Because your problem is not in what you know, it's in what you're able to do. So you need to practice being the person you want to be. Back to that idea of practicing. How do you practice something? Well, the most important thing is to have a strategy of how to practice something that's simple and easy to do. So this is one of the main reasons why I created the Program Yourself Thin technique. It's a 1-2 minute technique you use at night, or the redo rehearsal technique. And this first part of this whole process of using this technique is to put yourself into a solution-oriented mindset. Because it is hard not to go back into the problem. I struggle with this myself. I work with all my clients with this, and it's the first time I'm always catching. They're always going back into the problem. They want to diagnose it. But really, you're way better off just going into the solution. So that's why this Program Yourself Thin technique I use is one of the few ways I've found to really be able to practice being solution-oriented. And it's so powerful because as you start to develop the ability to be more solution oriented, what it's done for me, I'll put this in another framing, is that I believe why it's called program yourself thin is because I believe you're always programming yourself. Now, I think most of the time you're programming yourself to be overweight. You don't realize it, but that's what you're doing. And so the reason you're programming yourself is you're constantly talking to yourself, right? Your internal dialogue, you're constantly talking to yourself. And so it's like in the hypnosis world, we always say you are your own best or worst hypnotist. And so if you're always saying negative things to yourself, you're literally hypnotizing yourself to be overweight. And so what we do with the redo rehearsal technique is we develop a supportive, encouraging, positive, solution-oriented voice. Now, I call that my coach voice. And so what that does is it balances out the negative voice in my head. Now, I still have this negative voice in my head. I know you don't like this. People are always pushing back. They want to get to a point where they're not going to have the negative voice in their head. But basic neuroscience says you can't get rid of old wiring. It's there. So all we can do is wire over it. And so I will tell you 30 years into this process, that negative voice is still first on the scene in my head most of the time. But it's not a big deal because the coach voice is right there a second later. And the coach voice, that positive, supportive, encouraging voice is way more compelling and has a lot better answers at its disposal. So that's how you do it. That's the only way I figured out how to do it, to be honest. I don't know any other way. It's a practice to become a solution-oriented person. Yeah, Bell says basically not eating. Exactly, right? It's all mental. You got to train your mind first. I lost 70 pounds in 8 months. I've been maintaining for the last 3.5 months. Well, great job maintaining. That's a big accomplishment. Okay, big accomplishment. Will long fasting hours keep the weight of in the long term? I mean, if you could keep up long fasting hours, I imagine they would, but they won't. Hey, John's joining the Thrive program. All right, super, John. Yeah, we'll be there. I'll see you on Wednesday. Super duper. Yeah, welcome to the club. Yeah, I can't wait. The ladies are real excited about you joining the program, so that's exciting. And John, John, it's so funny because John is going to be one of my most interesting success stories because now he's doing something he has never done in his life, which is made a year commitment. And that is always the game changer, you know? So that's great. That's awesome, John. Congratulations. Wow, everything you said to me has never been said to me. Need to online coach with you. I can't, yeah. I get it, Z. You do need, I mean, again, I'm just coming at this from such a unique angle. I'm not a genius. I'm smart enough. You know what I mean? I'm not an idiot, but I'm not a genius. But what I've done is I've spent the last 20 years, 30 years personally, 20 years professionally, done over almost 6,000 private weight loss sessions. I do this shit all day, every day. I do this podcast every day I've been talking about this for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm absolutely obsessively passionate about this because if you don't know, my story started when I was 9. My dad died of a heart attack at 54. He knew he had to lose weight. He knew his heart was an issue. He didn't know how to change it. So for me, this is a very, very serious thing, you know? And so, yeah, I love when people say, because I know, Z, I know you've been obsessed with weight forever. I know all the people listening to this that you're obsessed with weight for decades and you've never heard anything even remotely close to what I'm telling you here. This is what I'm trying to say because I want you to get a sense of certainty and hopefulness that's grounded in that certainty that you can do this. Because I know right now you don't think you can do it because you think the only way to do it is to diet, get surgery, or do medicines. And you don't believe any of them are going to work. Deep down, you don't believe you can do it. And I'm telling you, the only reason you believe that is because you've never been shown a common sense system that makes sense to get the results you want. It's like, I always use the example of playing the piano, but it's like if you've never played the piano and you want to learn it, it's like if the only way anyone ever told you to learn the piano is they said, okay, you want to learn the piano? Okay, you got to do it. Let's do it. We're going to hit the ground running. You're going to do it. You're serious? Okay. You got to play for 10 hours a day. And here's the routine. You do this for an hour, and 10 hours a day. You got to do it every day. And you say, okay, great. I can do that. Man, I'm going to get this piano quick. Well, you get through the first day. And at the end of the day, when you wake up the next day, your fingers are all cramped up. You hate the piano and you dread doing it the next day. Right? But then, and you keep trying that, and sometimes you get through a day and then you can't do it anymore and you quit. And then a year goes by, you say, no, I really do want to learn the piano. So you do it for a day, you get cramped up, you can't do it anymore. That's what you've been doing dieting wise. And all of a sudden someone comes and says, oh, you want to learn to play the piano? 10 hours a day? Are you nuts? That's horse shit. Of course, that's fucking silly. You're going to burn yourself out the first day. You're never going to be able to continue with it. So listen, all you need is 15 minutes a day. All you need to do is practice 15 minutes a day for the first few months. Let's just get the feeling of it into your hand. Let's make it manageable. When do you want to do the 15 minutes? When would the first 15 minutes work? When would it work best for you? In the morning, in the middle of the day, in the afternoon? When would it work best for you? Could you commit to 15 minutes? Yeah. Do you say, like, I don't mean to say so ridiculous, but it feels that way to me. You know, that every time you try and lose weight, you do it with ways that are unsustainable. They're so overwhelming to you. This is why it's Monday and you haven't started a plan. You want to lose weight. I know you want to lose weight. It's not the desire to want to lose weight. It's the strategy, which there is no strategy. It's the way you think you need to lose weight and you're dreading it. So, yeah. That's why make sure you go watch the video, because again, I'm bouncing all over the place. But if you go to my bio, click the link at the hypnosis session and watch the video I give you right after that. That video is, it's gold. Again, and I talk about my program, but whether you join the program or not, it's about 25 minutes of just straight content of shit you've never heard, I can almost guarantee. And if you have heard it, you haven't heard it in this way, because I just want to reinforce that I'm a hypnotist. I'm a neuro-linguistic programming trainer. So when I am speaking, even on my podcast, I'm not just telling you things. I am using conversational hypnosis techniques. Basically, I'm looking to communicate with your subconscious mind, which I believe is controlling your behaviors, your thoughts, and ultimately your weight. So just listening to this is going to change things for you. Okay, but the program really changes things. Hamza says, I can't seem to control my eating. You can't control your eating because you have zero strategy. You have no strategy at all. You have to get crystal clear on what a tactic is and what a strategy is. A tactic is, I'm going to stop eating carbs tomorrow, because I guess you have a strategy if you want to call it, but it's a shitty strategy. The strategy is I'm going to force myself to do keto tomorrow. I'm going to force myself to follow intermittent fasting. That's your strategy in a nutshell. Horrible strategy. Because deep down on a deeper level, mindset wise, you have no strategy to control your eating. How are you managing your hunger? Okay, so you say, I want to control my eating. Yeah, how are you managing your hunger? How are you structuring your eating? How are you nourishing yourself? What are you doing to relax yourself? How's your sleep? How much water are you drinking a day? How much fresh whole foods are you putting in your body each day? How much are you moving? Where are your emotions at? Right? So if you have an answer for none of those, then yeah, obviously you're not going to be able to control your eating. You don't know the nuts and bolts of it, right? You never played the piano before. So I can't seem to be able to play the piano. Okay, well, let me see, play a major scale. Huh? Okay, play me a G chord. Huh? Okay, play me a melody. Huh? Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't know any of the nuts and bolts of how to control your eating. You're just trying to use this willpower, like you're just going to force yourself to eat differently. You know, you have no granular understanding of how to control your eating, you know? As he says, you definitely see through my shit. I do. And again, it's all from love, but yeah, I can see through a dieter's bullshit in 1 second. That's why I love coaching. It literally is. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do, because it's just amazing. You know what I mean? Because I know that you want to lose weight. Like, I know you want to, like, again, now technically you don't really want to lose weight, but let's just put that to the side. I know you in your own mind feel like you want to lose weight. And you think you really do want to lose weight. You think you know what to do, right? And you got your Weight Watcher. Again, you got whatever, pick of 4 or 5 strategies. I can almost guarantee it. I'm going to track my calories. I'm going to cut carbs. I'm going to intermittent fast. I'm going to, whatever you think you're going to do. But you have no real strategy. You know, so I can see through the bullshit, which is so, again, that's my favorite. I think my clients love that the most, because you're living in a fantasy land and you're taking action, like you're doing stuff. I honor you for that. I respect it. But you're in bizarro world. You're not seeing anything the way it really is. And that's what leads to the apathy and the belief that no matter what I do, I can't lose the weight. It's not true at all. Because you have not tried a mindset-based approach. You've not tried being truly strategic. You have not, again, if you will go through, if you go to my bio, click the link, you get the hypnosis and watch the video I give you right away, you will see instantly you've never thought about on these levels. And if you haven't thought about on these levels, you can't fix these levels. And so you're literally, you're in a room, you're in the library trying to find a book but the lights are off, you're blind, and you can't even see anything. You have no chance of success with your weight with just a diet mindset. There's no chance. Like at best, you could maybe get temporary change your weight for a little bit. This is why 95% of people can't keep the weight off. So again, I don't say this to be negative, but I say it to you to clarify your mind. Casey, what do you think of 48-hour fasts? I think if you're doing them for religious reasons, great. If you're doing them to lose weight, I think it's silly and goofy. Thanks for that, Rose. I think long-term fasts are goofy for the average person. Pezzo said I started the 16-8 fast the last 3 weeks. Yeah, okay, there it is. I started the 16-8 fast last 3 weeks. It's not sustainable. There you go. Now, again, I'm not saying it's not sustainable. I'm going to say it's probably not going to be sustainable for you. All that matters is how it feels for you. So if everyone else on the planet's able to do intermittent fasting amazing and do keto and they're just killing it and they're losing weight so fast and you're not because you don't like it, fine. Find your own way. If I could, oh my God, please focus. Just find your own way. What works for you? It's not that hard. It takes a little bit of more energy in the forefront. It's front loaded. So it takes more energy to figure out what do I want to eat? What works for me? What satisfies me? All the rest of it. And I know you just tell me what to do, but that's not going to work. Okay. You're a unique snowflake. And I remember I grew up when being a snowflake was a good thing. We were in grammar school, we cut snowflakes of ourselves and they were unique. Everyone was different and unique. And that was a good thing. Now it's going to take an alternate meaning, but let's go back to the original meaning. You're a unique, beautiful being who's just a one of a kind, truly one of a kind. You've grown up in a unique environment. You got unique genetics. It's just, you're one of a kind. And so you need to create a one size fits one plan that works for you. And I know you just want to be told what to do, which again, I can give you guidance, but ultimately you got to kind of tweak it and figure out what works best for you. And once you figure that out, again, it's a different course. And it leads you to a place where you're no longer forcing and fighting against yourself to do things you hate doing. My friend put it best. They said it's like you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. That's what dieting feels like to you. And instead, take a little bit of time and figure out how to fit a plan that's custom made for you. My plan is custom made for me. This is why I don't talk about what I eat very much. Because who gives a shit what I eat? What am I going to tell you? Who cares? You're not me. You don't like what I like. You don't live my lifestyle. So, yeah. But good for you, Pezzo, to realize it's not sustainable. Bell says, I'm working on my mental fitness. Great job. Erica says, so many people in here fighting and arguing for their limitations instead of recognizing their power. True story, true story. We fight for our limitations. We get in that habit, don't we? Right? We got to be careful of that. Dieting Diva says, I can't seem to avoid temptations, so I pre-plan every meal every day and bring food with me everywhere. How can I move past that crutch? Well, you could play around with it. But I mean, even what you're saying, this is where the framing comes in. So, Lindsay, this is for you too. How do we think like a thin, healthy person? A big part of it is being solution-oriented. And one of the best ways to be solution-oriented is to ask solution-oriented questions. So most of our thinking is in response to questions we're asking. And we don't even realize the questions we're asking. Most of the questions are, what's wrong with me? Questions. Why can't I stick to this plan? Why do I keep eating this way? Why do I keep screwing up? Solution-oriented questions become, and I'll display this with Dieting Diva. I can't seem to avoid temptation, right? So it starts that way. That's a problem-oriented phrase, and it's framed and encompassed by a limiting belief as well. Okay, I appreciate the seam at least, so I keep a little bit of wiggle room in there. But it's basically I can't seem to avoid temptation. I can't avoid temptation. If that shit's around me, I'm eating it. Okay, so we want to let go of that. Yeah, that's been the case maybe. But how about this? Dieting Diva, if I said, if you don't eat any of the temptations this week, I got a briefcase here. It's got $1 million in it. How hard would it be for you to avoid the temptation? Well, all of a sudden it's not temptation. Or it's not as tempting anyways. If I said, listen, I kidnapped the person you love the most in your life. They're kidnapped. I got them in my control. If you don't avoid the temptations this week, you're never going to see them again. How easy would it be for you to avoid the temptations in that scenario? Now, these are just thought experiments, so don't read into them too much. But again, so much of what we can do and can't do comes down to what we want to do. And what we want to do is comes down to how we think about things. So it's all mindset ultimately. And once you get mindset down right, we can do it forward. So the next question becomes, how can I easily avoid temptation? How can I be around these temptations and have more control over it? So the first thing I want to do is am I really tempted? What am I so tempted about? Well, I'm tempted because they have those delicious fresh baked cookies. Okay, they've been tempting in the past because I think they're so amazing. But what if I think about the consequence that happens right after I eat those cookies? So I start thinking, how tempting are those cookies? They're tempting if I just think about getting them and eating them. That's tempting to me. But then when I think about the 5 minutes after I finish eating the cookie, I feel kind of full. I feel frustrated with myself. I feel less than. I feel fat. I feel like I don't like how I feel. So I don't know. That part's not tempting. Then you start to realize, oh shit, things are tempting and not tempting. Everything's good and bad. It kind of depends on how I think about it, you know? And so again, that gets to the mindset piece. And once we get that part under control, everything changes. Lindsay says, I'm realizing that I have similar patterns with my weight as I do with money shortage. Yep, so eye-opening today. I feel an energy shift from overwhelmed to a hint of excitement. Yeah, that's exactly where I want you to be. And that's what I want all you to notice. I want you to notice the overwhelm you feel. Here, I'm going to guess, I don't know you, but I bet this is true. When you think about weight loss, probably money too. Money and weight loss are parallels, by the way. They're both means to an end, and they require a different strategy to get them than a lot of other things in life. So, I heard Alex Hormozy, the guy's brilliant, I don't know if you know him, but the reason why, like, if you're thirsty, like really thirsty, you go get something. If you really want something, you go get it. Usually there's like a need there on a physical level. And what we're talking about here, weight-wise and money-wise, on a higher level is the psychological level, and you got to take control of that. But yeah, whenever you think about weight loss, folks, I want you to notice that it probably elicits a stress response in you. You probably get stressed and you get overwhelmed and you freak out, and that causes your brain to just shut down. So feeling a hint of excitement is wonderful because it starts to let you know that, again, I'm not saying it's the easiest path in the world. I wish I could just hypnotize you, snap my fingers, and you lost the weight. That's not what happens. But I can show you a path. Just like if you wanted to become a plumber and you go sign up for plumbing, school, however long that takes, you're going to go through things and you're going to break it down, teach you this, and you're going to end up knowing how to be a plumber. No questions, you no doubt. And so it's the same thing here. If I break down and I show you how to set up the right mindset of a thin, healthy person, set up a lifestyle that works for you, the thin and healthy person, and how to eat like a thin and healthy person you want to be, and we have a systematic structure and way to practice and become that version of yourself, what happens is so much energy gets diverted from freaking out and being overwhelmed and scared and nervous about weight loss to feeling, okay, I kind of get this. You know what I mean? And that whole energy is different. And as you can imagine, it leads to completely different results, Christina says, I noticed I only lose weight when I starve. When I eat normally in a deficit, I start gaining weight. Yeah, I don't believe that, Christina. I think this is a common thing I hear, but I believe what happens for most people, you have to understand that when you go on extreme diets, and starving would be considered an extreme diet. When we go into extreme diets, we experience time distortion. So when you start trying to starve yourself or eat as little as possible, every day feels like a week. And so when you get a week into starving yourself, it feels like it's been 3 months. And so when you get a couple pound weight loss or whatever, first of all, it feels even discouraging even, but you start to frame yourself to that. When you eat kind of normal in a normal deficit, I start gaining weight. That's impossible. There's no way you start gaining weight cutting your calories down, So what I'm telling you, Christina, is that you're not seeing things accurately because it's impossible to... listen to me, folks. It's impossible to eat the same calories that you always eat that maintain your normal weight, and then you reduce your calories and your weight goes up. Okay? Unless maybe one day, you reduce your calories, but you ate a shit ton of salt, and the next day your weight went up a little bit. Okay? So what's happening, Christina, is you're seeing things in an inaccurate way, most likely. And what happens is that, you're probably not giving yourself enough time to reduce the calories. And then again, that comes to every dieter's problem, is that they think it's such a short-term time frame that leads to all kinds of problems, Eat carbs earlier, no carbs for dinner. Folks, the carbs are not the problem, okay? They've done this. They did a huge study, like it was over 100,000 people, where they compared low-fat to low-carb diets. Guess who won? Neither. It just depended whether people did either of them. People that did either of them, they achieved the same weight loss statistically, okay? You do not need to stop eating carbs to lose weight. You need to reduce your calories. Now, that being said, if you eat a standard American diet, the number one source of calories for the adult Americans? Baked goods, Okay, so yes, refined carbs in the form of baked goods, breads, processed foods, these are, a big problem because they cause you to overeat. But it is not the carbs themselves, it's the ease of overeating carbs that's the problem. Okay, so carbs are not some devil. You do not need to stop eating carbs. And if you're trying to follow a keto or carnivore diet, I do feel bad for you. Again, I'm not here to talk about your diets, but it's a short-sighted diet, in my opinion. And I won't argue that the short-term weight loss might be greater, but I am looking at the long-term weight loss, which is atrocious for keto. We all know this, right? It's not the weight loss you experience while you're on keto. It's your ability to stay on keto for any period of time. You know that already, don't you? How do you feel about setting a timer for meal times when you feel out of control? I feel great about it. I love structuring my eating. And I say this all the time. Intuitive eating, get out of here. Get out of here with your intuitive eating. I think it's a romantic fantasy idea that sounds great. And if it works for you, great. Okay, knock yourself out. But for me, if I started intuitive eating and just eating when I'm hungry, guess what? I'm always hungry. Okay, I can always eat. Literally. I was joking. On Valentine's Day, I ate my normal breakfast. And then I realized I wasn't going to be able to go out with my wife that night. And so I was like, hey, let's go grab breakfast at this place. I just ate another breakfast. You know what I mean? So again, it's a thing we're all born with. It's called spontaneous voracity. We can eat a lot at any moment in time because we evolved in a food scarce environment. The more you can eat spontaneously, the more likely we're to survive. And we're all the recipients of those ancestors' genes. So yeah, I think if you're just going to try and do the bullshit where you've been an overeater for 20 years, but now you're just going to tap into intuitive eating, you have no clue. You don't even know what it's like to feel satisfied. You're not in touch with your body. Forget it. I think, if it works for you, again, ignore everything I'm saying, but I don't think it's going to work for you. So I think the most important thing, I always say this and program yourself in, I think you've got to structure your eating. You've got to eat at certain times. Again, we got 2 days. We got clean days, pleasure days. But I think you need to structure your eating somewhat so you can start to gain some awareness of what foods support your satiety and set you up for success and what times don't. So in terms of the eating at certain meal times, I think that's a great idea. Now, again, without having the full concept of it, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But that's a crucial part of the problem. Karen said you're too funny. Thank you. How to lose weight. Just consume less calories. I'd never do that to you, but I just say that just to know what 99% of the weight loss industry feels like. Because the idea, to tell you what to do versus showing you how to get yourself to do it is my life's mission. So yeah, how to lose weight, just eat less food, consume less calories, which doesn't necessarily mean eat less food, by the way, if you understand calorie density, but that's another story. But the best thing is go to my bio, click the link, watch the video, and that explains it better than I can right now. Astrid says a long session tonight. This is a long session. I'm going for a long time. It's like a New Year's Day session. I don't even know how this has happened. I'm having so much fun, though, that I keep going, but I could eat. I'm getting a little woozy. I could eat my salad. Casey asks how to break a weight loss plateau. Casey, you got to calm down though, because you're freaked out mode. When you start asking how can I fast, what do you think about fasting for 7 days a week? You're too impatient. You got to calm down. Again, please watch the video I made because you need to reframe the goal from weight loss to weight mastery. You're so obsessed with weight loss that you're trapped in that. Kind of says, thanks for so much time. You're a blessing. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it. Oh my God, please watch Stutz on Netflix. It explains the negative voice you're talking about. I will. I've been wanting to watch that anyways, and now you just gave me the little kick I needed. Paul says, excellent meeting today. Thank you very much. Finally, someone who says it how it is instead of fluffing around the topic. So refreshing to hear. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that because I really do. It means a lot to me because I think there's so much bullshit. No one ever says anything. So Astrid's feeling better. I'm glad to hear that. You can control it, eat at 12, snack at 3, and dinner at 6, then fast from 7 to 11. Yep. My binge urges. Now, I just want to say, when Pizzo says you can control it, eat at 12, snack at 3, dinner at 6, then fast. Again, that's the weight loss industry here, just what to do. Maybe that's the perfect plan even. But you have to recognize the difference between being told the perfect plan and being able to follow the perfect plan. Therein lies the problem, okay? And for most people, the path you walk from knowing about the perfect plan to being able to follow the perfect plan is practicing it, which is where you fall apart because you can't even imagine practicing anything. You either jump into it all or I'm going to do nothing. And what that means is you do nothing. So anyways, my binge urges aren't even that bad, but I keep non-binging nonstop. Any help? Yeah, I mean, it's just who you are now. You know what I mean? I can see it even in your. Did you just change your name? But either way, I see. If I'm guessing what that name means, it's an identity of being identified with this disorder. You know, so I think like without your binging, who would you be? I can't see your picture, so I don't know. But I'm just gonna riff off here a little bit, but because I know like sometimes when I have videos, I have some videos pop off this week, and when I do, I get a lot of people in the eating disorder world show up because I use the word thin. I mean it completely different. Okay, I think of being thin as being living at your goal weight, and I think your goal weight as being at the weight that gives you the best quality of life, that makes you the best version of you. So I don't think it just being the lowest weight possible. I don't think that means shit. Okay, I think weight is a relative thing that's contextual. It depends on which one gives you the best quality of life. Now, that being said, when I see someone say my binge urges aren't even there, but I keep binging nonstop, any help, and I see ED in the name, I'm assuming that this is a huge part of your identity. And so who would you be tomorrow if you no longer ever binged again? It just naturally just went right out of your head today. You woke up tomorrow feeling healthy, happy, with the weight you were at, and you felt good and whole, like a good version of yourself. And you first thing you did is you went and changed your name, so you didn't identify as that anymore. You know, that might get you further down the path than trying to stop the binge eating. You motivated me to go to the gym today. All right, nice. It's exciting. It's a lifestyle change, not a diet. Yeah, absolutely. It's a diet too, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I say it's the weight mastery pyramid: mindset, lifestyle, eating. So I absolutely have a very structured way of eating. You know, so real important. What would your number one top tip for weight loss be? My top tip for weight loss would be to reframe it from weight loss to weight mastery. Weight loss is all about getting to your goal weight, and weight mastery is about living the rest of your life at your goal weight on near autopilot. So that's the biggest tip I'd give you, because as long as you're chasing weight loss, you're probably going to chase weight loss for the rest of your life, right? Because if you become a master of weight loss, how do you master weight loss? You have to keep on losing weight. How can you master anything? You got to keep doing it, right? So if you master your weight loss, it means you've tried losing weight thousands of times, and you just keep losing it, putting it back on, losing it again, put it back on, lose it again. So I would shift from weight loss to weight mastery. And weight mastery is all about living at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. That'd be my number one tip. And then follow the weight mastery pyramid to make that happen. Mindset, lifestyle, eating. You need a holistic, comprehensive approach to do it. You can't just change your eating out of the blue. This is the mindset needed for success. Absolutely. No, it's a little behind when I said it's not sustainable. I was commenting about 48-hour fasting. Oh, okay. I got you. I do the 16-8 fast and it works. Great. And again, listen, folks, it works. The diet works. Any diet works. All the diets work if you follow them. The question is, can you follow the diet? So the diet works. Does it work for you? Don't be afraid if it doesn't. Okay. There's a million ways to lose weight. If you start honoring yourself and building around you, you're going to get way better results long term than just trying to force yourself some. What do you think helps with those urges in binge eating? I think what helps with the urges in binge eating is understanding what's creating the urges. Again, the two big triggers for binge eating are being really, really hungry and emotionally being in a negative place. You know, those are the two big ones for binge eating. So usually people are over restricting, getting themselves too hungry, then binging, or emotionally, they're depressed, they're stressed, they're freaking out, they're sad, they're lonely, whatever. And then they're eating as a way to feel better. So how do you deal with those? You resolve them. You don't get yourself too hungry, and you learn how to deal with your emotions genuinely. 24 for a year and lost 60 pounds and kept it off for over a year. Does drinking coffee break your fast? I mean, it's no calories. I'm not a fast expert though, so that it breaks your fast. You know what I mean? Like again, that's I love that talk. Only when you put cream or milk in it. Yeah. So you can see, right? Like again, we have different people that are usually here today. Again, because I know I had this big video, so I get people that are thinking on a different level, but it's so extreme. You know what I mean? Like the fasting mindset is so I call it nighttime fasting to avoid the intermittent fasting. I don't need the intermittent fasting police down my neck. So I call it nighttime fasting. It's my own version. And so it's not 16 hours. It is 13, 14 hours a day. I usually stop eating 6, 7 at night, start eating 7, 8 o'clock the next morning. But this is something I started 30 years ago, and I intuitively just kind of fell into it. But I didn't have the police, force me. I have to do it this way. I got to do it this way. That counts for I get to make my own rules, which I think is a good thing for anyone, Want to just express my gratitude to what you're doing. Thanks so much. Can't wait to work with you. Super. Can't wait to see you in the program. See you tomorrow. See you later, Astrid. Struggling with perimenopause, scales don't change. Marie, again, for you, it's important. When we have a physical challenge affecting our weight, we need to also have a physical solution. Okay? The physical solution is the lifestyle change. So the lifestyle habits you want to start weaving into your life to counteract the perimenopausal effects are, in order of importance, proper sleep, hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. As you start weaving these into your life, it'll make it easier to start losing the weight regardless of menopausal phase you're in. If you're a diabetic, carbs are a problem. Well, fair enough in that. But this is a weight loss contest, okay? So obviously, anything can be a problem in certain contexts. I think we know that, I hope. Is it better to build muscle before losing fat, or do you think I can do that at the same time, but being in a calorie deficit? I would definitely focus on losing fat before building muscle for the average person because it's easier. But you could do both, I suppose. But it's hard because mentally it's frustrating because the weight doesn't change as much and it's hard to keep with that. Can you speak on the means to an end aspect of weight loss? What are people really trying to achieve? We can all agree that while looking good is nice, it isn't the main ending point. Yeah, exactly, Lindsay. That's a great point. And that's what I try to say. That's why you got to take your weight loss, wrap it in personal development. The weight loss in of itself doesn't make you happy. Money in it, you understand? That's why money and weight are good to look at together because they're both means to an end. So I could say, Lindsay, money-wise, right? Let's put it that way. I say, I got a new job for you, and I'm going to pay you $1 million a year. Right? So I was like, holy shit, everything's going to be amazing. Well, hold on. The job is actually going out and robbing senior citizens. Okay. Oh, well, right? So you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I got a diet. It's amazing. You're going to get right to your goal weight. Okay, tell me what it is. You don't eat 7 days a week. You fast 7 days a week. Oh. You see? So again, what it's all about, and you just you asked a question, which I kind of just answered, but not in a straight up way. The means to an end is the best quality of life, is what I would say you should orient around, because that's the main sticking point for you in the weight anyways, right? You want to lose weight. You know what to not eat to lose weight, but you want that enjoyment. You want the pleasure of that food. You want that quality of life. And so you choose that quality of life of eating the food over the weight loss. But that's all mindset. That's all programming because of the way you think about things, And that's what we do in our program is we change what is a quality of life. You watch that video. Oh, Lindsay, you're not, where are you on? Oh, you're on YouTube. If you're not on TikTok, go to TikTok. And I just put a video up. This was a great video. I love this. The easiest way to lose weight. It's one of the new ones. So if you go to my TikTok, it's one of the last 4 or 5 I put up there. The easiest way to lose weight. Watch that because I talk about the pleasure of the food and how to reframe that. What type of exercise do you think is best for weight loss? I like walking. So I like walking, gentle walking, because it connects you to your body, makes you feel good, doesn't make you sore, doesn't make you tired, doesn't really boost your hunger up. So I'm not a big fan of exercising for weight loss. I like exercising. I think it's fine. But if you're one of my average clients and you haven't been exercising for years, please let's not start with the exercising. Let's start with the food. Okay, all of our energy onto the food, and then we'll start with the exercise when you get a handle on that. Do you have any opinion on SSRIs for helping with weight loss? I don't know. How come I don't know what an SSRI is? Oh, okay. A class of antidepressants. Well, I'm not against medicines. I'm not against medicines, but I like to try and deal with things at the core if I can. Okay. And so, again, I don't have an opinion on it. I'm not an expert. I had to look it up, right? So what am I going to tell you? I've had people on anxiety medications, depression medications who have worked their way off of them through the program, because this program at its core is not about weight loss. It's about feeling better. When you make that the goal, folks, it's a game changer, because don't you fucking realize why you're eating the way you're eating half the time? Do you ever think about this? I know you do on some level. Don't you think you make a lot of food decisions you know you shouldn't if you want to lose weight strictly because you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, you're depressed, You're negative emotionally. You're stressed out. You're really hungry. You see what I mean? Why do you make... Sometimes you make good food decisions, sometimes you make unhealthy ones. What's the difference? You got the same knowledge in your head. You know which ones are healthy or unhealthy, so that's not doing it. Isn't it your mood? Sometimes you're in a real good, focused, motivated mood. You make good food choices. Then sometimes you're, fuck it, I don't give a shit what I do. I don't care. Who cares? Then you make a bad one. So, it's all about how you feel. So again, program yourself thin. What I find a lot of people happens is they either wean down or get off completely a lot of those types of medicines because, again, mindset, lifestyle, eating, everything starts moving in a direction where you start feeling better. And when you start feeling better, you tend to eat better. And when you eat better, you tend to lose weight. So we kind of reverse the process. I think most people think they're going to lose weight and then feel better. Yeah? Why do you think that? What the fuck, man? I mean, have you ever lost weight before? You ever tried losing weight before? You've lost weight? What happened? How did you feel? Oh, I felt absolutely amazing. Well, why'd you stop? Why'd you stop? Because it was too hard to eat that way. It was too hard to keep it up. So yeah, you loved losing the weight, but you hated living that way. That's why you stopped. It was too hard. So anyways, I have PCOS, so it's... Whoops, shit. Let me get to these questions. I gotta wrap them up. I gotta go eat salad. I'm gonna pass out. I have PCOS, so it's a lot harder for me to maintain and lose weight. Any advice? It's harder for you to lose weight, probably, but it's no harder if you maintain. Again, you're looking at the maintenance. If you figure out a way to eat and live that keeps you at your goal weight, that's comfortable, it's a lot easier to maintain. But what you're doing, Casey, is of course you're struggling to maintain. I don't know. You're asking me about fasting for 6 days, 7 days out of the week, 6 days out of the week. You know what I mean? So your thinking is all over the place. You're not thinking about living at your goal weight. You're thinking about how can I lose the weight quickly? And that way of doing it is always going to lead you to these extreme things that you can't keep up. It's like being on a hamster wheel. It's like you're doing stuff. I know you're taking action. You're doing things. It's like, I'm like, okay, I want you to run a mile. That's 4 laps around the track. And you get to the first quarter and then you get tired and you say, oh, I need to stop. I need to take a break. And then you go back to the beginning. And then you run and you get to the first quarter and you get tired and you go back to the beginning. That's like what you're doing. And you never get any further into the process to figure out what's going to work for you. You're taking your wild swings at wild things to lose weight. Love your approach, so refreshing. Thank you so much for sharing. You're welcome, Emma. I'm glad you're appreciating it. Thanks, Jim. This really hits home for me. Great. Awesome, guys. I've got all the questions raised. I'm getting out of here. This has been awesome, though. I love doing this. That's why today I love Mondays because I don't have any coaching calls today. So I guess I got to fill my time up with talking about this one way or the other. So again, folks, if you have not, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, watch the video, read the emails, and listen to the podcast. Podcast is Program Yourself Thin. Do one of these every weekday. Even just listen, that's going to help you. And if you're really serious, check out the program and work with me. I will help you out. Okay. So, my camera just went out too. So sorry, you guys. I saw your question, Lindsay, there. So yeah, I think you're right on the money with what you're writing there. Sometimes I think I don't have control over food and thinking constantly of junk foods. How can I stop? I can't answer that now. I got to get out of here, but go to my bio, watch the video that I give you right after you opt in, and that'll talk about it. All right. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate this. Have a super day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.